Welcome back to the Apex Academy VOD review series, now with way better lighting and camera quality, albeit it's temporary, and also outdated content. That's right, we're going back to Online Tournament 3 for a little bit of a refresher. This is when TSM, it's the first NA tournament that TSM lost. So prior to Online Tournament 3, they were the 5-time champions, and this is the first one that they lost to Team Liquid. So Team Liquid was the team to dethrone them, so it was a bit of it was a fun one to look at. It was very close, actually. I don't believe that TSM lost by very much, but it was a very interesting one to look at for sure. I do feel like I need to disclose this though, because I remember doing this live on stream, and I think I probably acted a little bit differently than normal, but I did technically coach Team Liquid for this tournament. This is the tournament after they won it, they decided that they wanted to sign me on officially as a coach, so this is kind of like the trial run. So I did coach them for this one. It was nobody knew at the time, so it was a bit interesting to kind of like keep it a secret. There were a couple things I remember when I was doing it live on stream that I almost kind of slipped out just instinctively, but it was a fun one. They played very well, very proud of them, and it was a pleasure to be a part of that. So without further ado, enjoy.
You lead the way.
All right, so for those that don't know, first off, I know all fun and games and stuff so far, but we are going to do a legitimate VOD review. For those that don't know, Team Liquid's desired locations, hold up, we got to bring up the epic pen. Their desired locations. So, the Team Liquid boys take literally the worst two fucking places on the map for loot. They take Drill and they take Train Yard. You wouldn't know this because they've never showed. I literally never showed Team Liquid on the tournament broadcaster thing. I thought for a second they weren't even in the tournament. But they take Drill Site and Train Yard. If there's sometimes I have noticed from other team VODs that they also take Lava Fissure if it's open. They are very greedy with loot. You're not going to see ultra fast rotations with this team. And I'm not grilling them for that. I'm just saying it's going to be a little bit different. They don't do TSM. They loot as much as they possibly can.
We have no beacon. Only beacon's lava.
Which is fair because they're landing at Drill Site and Train Yard. That's not even. But hey, it works. Obviously, they won tournament.
One down here.
So we got one team landing on them.
Go drill. Wait, they dipped off. They dipped off. I think. Yeah, they're off. They're off.
I'm looting up top.
They didn't go drill too. Hey, look at me.
I was gonna say Valorous week, but I'm like, the game's Valorant, so
Wait,
it's been a Valorantous week.
Wait, actually?
Yeah.
First off, imagine being, I don't know what team this is, because Knock immediately messaged me and who's like, who the fuck was that team that dropped in Train Yard? If you're watching this mysterious team that dropped in Train Yard, you're fucking trolling by dropping 3 people at Train Yard. By the way, there's my quick VOD review on your team. You're fucking trolling. But we continue.
They're running. 74, I'm crossing.
Okay.
It's all you guys, not with you?
I don't know what team this is.
I have a loadout.
They're under.
But they're 3-man dropping at Train Yard. I mean, like,
I'll just come over right now.
this is gonna be hard. I'm gonna have to keep going.
66 purple on the Watson.
Everyone's coming. Fuck it.
They're running this way.
Just stay looting, Brennan.
Should I go?
Stay
Okay.
looting.
They're running.
Okay. So they land 3-man Train Yard. Don't know what this team is doing, honestly. Knock.
Alright, you should stop change. Stop just loot.
Knock, the triple takes like the easiest gun to hit shots with. But you know, hey, that's fine. That's not what we're VOD reviewing right now.
I'm PK Scout.
That's gonna be big, thank you.
The gold armor.
Gold armor, by the way. Alright, a bit of a spoiler. If you guys don't know, even though I did just talk shit on Train Yard and Drill Site, I don't think there's a single, after this first game, I don't think there's a single game where this team does not have 1 gold armor and like 2 fucking purples. Maybe there might be 1, but their loot actually is nuts. You know, being able to split both of them is pretty fucking crazy, because you get like at least like minimum 2 cargo bots.
I need a sight.
One of them probably gonna have the vault key. You sometimes get train. I don't know. It's a lot of loot. It's a lot of loot.
200 light, no.
Alright, but we're gonna speed it up here. I'm trying to remember these circles. Oh, right. The first 2 games ended in Refinery. So yeah, so like I said, this team they don't like to focus as much on rotating early. They like to loot as much as possible and be ready for fights. And I don't blame them, because they fight really well. Did they miss a purple shield? No. I don't believe they did.
I don't think we have the range for
They did actually. Wait a minute. Did I actually? Oh my god. My own chat's better at VOD reviewing than I am.
They're running literally in the open.
Casper. How do you let this happen, Casper?
Alright. Shadow them.
Team way over here.
Shadow them if you don't know. It's like they're literally their shadow. It's
yeah,
like
they're
they're
trying to throw
mimicking
this
their
team.
movements.
There's a team
Just
here
a
on the
quick
ridge.
little. Not a lot of teams use that call out, but
Careful here. We want to
very appropriate.
We gotta go.
Fighting, they're
You
shooting,
guys have
they're
shots? Can we shoot?
Yeah.
No, farther.
Let's just try and get survey.
disciplined play right there.
Yes.
Most teams would have been like, oh, shoot him, beat him.
looks so-
No,
this looks
sometimes
so
it's, all that matters is getting to where you gotta go. Remember, they have a Pathfinder. They don't have a Gibraltar, so it's not gonna be as easy to just force fights, especially this early when there's a lot of people here.
Guy east.
Alright, so
Watson on this
once the
side.
circle closes, we'll hear a bit of their ideology, see what they want to go, what they want to do.
Yeah,
much
this
lighting
is
do
like,
we
this is
have?
like bad.
I have 220.
You drove me at full
218.
click.
Here, Thomas, might as well just take my 2 times.
Even though, obviously, you're probably like, why the hell do they sit up here? They got accelerants. They don't need to worry about slamming the gen in the wrong spot. I'm gonna start saying that from now on.
Why do you drop it?
Cells, one med kit, one.
Here goes your guys' Nocturnal. I don't know, because Noc carries fights pretty hard. And that's not a slight on Casper or Flanker, but Noc does some crazy shit in these fights. That's actually one thing that's nice about Team Liquid is they actually are all very, very capable of hitting their shots, even when one is under the Corona. Yeah, no, it's that's what I'm saying. Like, even though what I just said might have sounded like flame, I'm absolutely not flaming at all. Noc plays a very, I think Noc's Wraith is very underrated in terms of like a lot of the pro rates, but I think that's also partly because Noc doesn't really stream. But I think Noc is definitely one of like the top rates out there. I think most people just don't really know that. Right? Nobody ever sees him play, so if you don't see him playing, how do you know what he is? He actually, like, through watching some of the VODs, because, I don't know, he just asked me to one of the days, not alluding to anything in particular, but because I watched a couple of them, I'm like, damn, Noc actually, like, does some fucking work on Wraith.
Yeah.
Doing that. Oh, actually, I actually want to go back to this. So, I mean, this isn't like a big point at anything to this team, but if this isn't your first rodeo, if you've heard me talk about other VOD reviews, you notice how I talk a lot about Watson, and one of the strengths that she has that no one really talks about, it's not quite like written in her abilities, is her ability to claim areas. Like, you saw a lot of the hesitation that Noc had here purely because he saw Watson fences. Even though they're not occupied anymore.
Get in with them up there. No cover.
Watch right here.
Remember, we have this lag too, so we gotta be really careful.
Right.
Some fucking people don't get it though.
See, look, Noc's like, what the hell's going on here?
True. I'm sure the Gibby all go off.
Yes, I'm playing R3
Set
later.
it for this building over here. I don't see anything yet.
The north side.
Yeah.
See,
I just don't know if there's a team here. That's
But
the
like,
problem.
doesn't know if there's a team there. See, that's the power of Watson fences. Like, outside of just
but like, will
what
the north side,
her
will the
fences
team on the
actually
north
do.
side be any better than this side?
Yes.
This is why I always talk about, if you are a team that's capable of it, if you are strong at holding the areas and hitting your shots and stuff you have to hit, extending your like real estate, I guess, as much as you can
Here,
goes
take
a
it,
very
take it,
long
take
way.
it.
Cheers.
Yeah. Behind me.
Set it in, set it in. There's a
What?
fuck.
I just got lag, bro.
There's a fuck ton of fences here, but I don't think it matters.
Oh man.
Okay.
And they said
Let's watch
all
this
the casters
rotation.
were getting fucking lag.
Yeah, like this is like they need to.
Funny joke.
Because games are like this, they just need to literally not play.
Alright, focus up. Focus
Right here.
up.
This is where they're gonna
We
go
could get
first.
shot.
Yeah, don't. Yeah, good leadership here, Flanker. If there's one thing that bugs me about playing with certain people is when you're like, you know, in the shit, when you're playing a competitive match of anything. I hate all those like stupid little unnecessary and unrelated complaints. You know, stick to the in-game comms. Keep it related to the game.
Somebody just hit my fence.
You know?
Took that building.
Also, notice this, by the way. Notice how one of the things I always talk about as well is always plan your weapons for the circle that you think it's going to be. Noc is a Wraith running the charge rifle. The charge rifle, the Sentinel. He thought it was going to be a survey ending. I don't know why he thought it was going to be a survey ending, but regardless, the team theory here is that it's going to be an outside open ending on the north end of the map. So you are able to run a sniper as a Wraith.
It's a rebel, I'm pretty sure.
Not always advised. It has to be very situational.
We gotta look for our next rotate. We might be able to play under this in refine.
Yeah.
Maybe not.
Yeah, it's the one that literally ends like right up here.
So we
I'm
should.
still safe where I'm at.
Well, where's the best spot to rotate?
Not true, Casper.
That could possibly be open.
VOD reviews,
No,
yes.
That's all we need to worry
nothing's
about.
open. We might just have to fight for this, to be honest. There's a guy that just crossed under that, but it was only one.
I'm surprised. I mean, I guess it was a bit of a surprise to me that a lot of this is open, but at the same time, most teams are going to be taking things that are obviously further into the circle. The whole the hermit crab theory I keep talking about.
We might need to go
Path
for now, maybe.
74. I think this is TSM, pretty sure. Yeah,
I think you portal from dome. I think you portal from dome. Yeah.
Sorry, I had to yawn there. But what I was gonna say, I think this is TSM. Then he gets fucking headshotted. He goes, "Yeah, it's TSM."
Underneath the silos.
Okay.
I mean, we could probably walk in on this side, go into the door right here.
Yeah, I think we need to go there now.
Good planning. Good stuff.
And we don't know there's people there.
You're dead,
There's
Thomas?
people there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
do
20%. 20%.
Okay. We can
I should have it by the
I
time.
guess we're just waiting for that.
wait for a little bit.
I mean, I should have it by the time we get there.
These rotations are very tricky though, because you can easily get fucked by a lot of teams all of a sudden that like just happen to look at you.
Alright, I'm ready to go.
Let's go. I'll have it in 10%.
I'm in charge on that. It's budget shoddy, but an okay one.
Sniper ammo.
Yeah, no, I mean you're not wrong. That's why. I mean that's why I think the. Oh my.
Give me
43
double
on that guy. We're good. You'll
He didn't say it, but I know he's thinking about
watch
thinking
this, watch
about
your
it,
from there.
about the
We're still
pussy
safe inside by the
popping.
way, so we need to rush anything yet.
But
Yeah, I'm safe right here.
that's why actually why I think the
Yeah,
triple
Yeah,
take.
we are. I'm down to sit here, honestly.
That's actually why I think the triple take is the best sniper in the game because it's
But if
also
if that's
still
safe, we should go there
viable
now.
early
But
game
it's
or
safe.
close
At
up
the bottom,
if
we
you
should
have
stay
to.
here.
Okay.
Because the team's just gonna get terrible
Wait
for
for my Q. My Q.
Laziness, Tito.
Watch our rotate behind
Well, part of it is laziness, and part of it is also actually that some people want to be identified as those skins. I know, like it seems counterintuitive to competitive, but some people look at the Retzi skin for example, which is the blue bald wraith.
too much damage.
Yeah,
to that
just don't take
game
damage,
sniper.
Jaden. Dude, when you have portal?
But there's also a duality to it. Like, yes, I think when it gets like later into the tournament, like say you're in first place and people are like, oh that's that team, that's the skins they use, let's just grief them. I think that would be a decent time to swap it. But also like early in the tournament though, like these early games, it's probably better that you use a skin that other pros can identify you as, because if they know, like if a team respects you and respects your ability to fight, it's better that they know who you are and where you are, so they don't choose to fight you. So that's like it's also like a big respect thing. I can't tell you how many times you would be surprised in these tournaments that teams that run skins that like we don't like notice as like, oh that's that guy, he likes to run that skin. They do get sent on purely because a lot of players are like, oh, they're probably someone I don't know. And in that regard, on that same note, an easy fight.
Trying to watch our back.
Alright, I can't even. I don't think I can commit to this.
Holy shit. Knock was getting fucked.
The team above us is just hard watching it. I need a
got
gen.
4 cells, 1 bat.
I need
You
a
need a gen?
I think, yeah, I have an ulti cell here.
I don't know if you guys gonna be safe right there?
Yeah.
Nice map by the way.
We're safe like right here.
I'm safe on my spot.
You want me to, are we
Very-
waiting here? Like, you want me to pop this?
What? If you want to.
Not a lot of room to breathe,
I'll
but
just-
it's okay.
I'll pop it if you have to. Just let me know like 10 seconds ahead.
I would just pop it because we're gonna have to move next turn anyway.
What Knock did with the TP though is definitely not a bad idea. There are a lot of wraiths that'll like. Here, let's just go back to it. There are a lot of wraiths that don't do this, and sometimes it's better that you just
Commit to this.
yeah, like if you're coming out of your queue while TPing and you already have less than full HP, it's probably better that you just leave. Because everybody, like, when you get to these higher tier games, everybody looks to kill all the rotating wraiths, because you kill that. If you kill the wraith, she doesn't drop her portal. It doesn't work like that anymore. You fuck that entire team over, and it's an easy kill because she's not shooting back at you. Yeah, exactly. Well, look at my sock said.
Above us is just hard watching it. I need a
I got
gen.
4 cells, 1 bat.
I need
You
a-
need a gen?
I think, yeah, I have an ulti cell here.
I don't know if you guys are you guys gonna be safe right there?
All right. Let's see how this plays out for
I'm
him.
safe on my spot.
You want me to, are we waiting here? Like, you want me to pop this?
What? If you want to, yeah.
I'll pop it if you have to. Just let me know like 10 seconds ahead.
I would just pop it because we're gonna have to move next turn anyway.
Make sure you're charged. Focus
Wraith
on
port
charging
speed the
your
same
shield.
as bang double time? I don't believe so. What up, Lewis?
Alright, I got my next gen.
Lewis, peep the Twitter clip and tell me if you've seen a better Rimstone. Just saying.
Just take portal and try to get it in, but
Going up portal.
like you have a drop. I don't know how much longer we have on it though.
10 seconds.
It's gone.
Pretty sure.
Yeah, we need to get.
Damn, did Monsoon already leave us?
We need
Unlucky.
to fight for this.
Even if like if we have to fight for it, we have to fight for it. We can't like we're not.
What the hell? Whose
We're gonna-
emote
our
is that?
chances are gonna
Taxis? Oh
decrease the
god.
longer we wait.
We should go now.
Alright, so
Walk on me. Walk on me. Walk on me. I think we can. You guys ready to send
very surprised that team wasn't peeking because
it in right here?
they knew that there was a team in there.
I don't know if there's a team there. It's kind of monka.
I mean, it's better to go together than that one. I think we
Okay,
should
let's
go.
go.
Let's go. Let's go. Go.
That's a good call right there, actually.
Full heal.
Very good call. For those that might have missed it. For those that might have missed it. They wanted Knock to scout it for them, but sometimes in times like these,
Bottom's clear.
you gotta just move together.
Okay, let's go.
I think they're on
Good,
that other
smart
side.
call,
outside,
smart
yeah.
call.
Yeah.
Because imagine if there's a team there and he just gets picked.
Should we play the room
Thank
below
you.
though?
Fighting, I think
down
fighting.
I do actually feel very comfortable on him now, and I don't. He's not as boring as I actually thought he was originally.
Like right here.
They might
Like,
try and keep
you
it
make
above
some
us.
fucking plays with that guy.
Yeah. I mean, we
Can
can
we play right here? We can play right
Anyways.
here technically,
Yeah.
but
This team's gonna start peeking me. I don't think.
Yeah, they're getting ready to peek.
Low ground taken?
I mean I think they just have it fenced. I don't think it's taken now.
Let's explore this way.
Let me nade it.
I'm checking, dude.
Can we
I'm
just
checking.
can we just go across?
Yeah, they're in there. They're in there. 100%.
Okay.
Face
Or at
checking
least
it
up
as a
top.
blue Watson is a little monka shake.
I mean, we can play edge.
I mean, I'm
play
safe right
edge
here.
upstairs, yeah,
we can just play
upstairs.
edge. I think we
Behind
hold up
us
here
or
and then
above us? Okay, never mind.
Above.
I think we set
They're
up right
gonna
here
peek us
and then
from
just
top.
we might just have to fight the kids on top.
Hodsic can give. I'm not reading the rest of that.
I'm gonna watch the cross.
That's not going on
See,
YouTube.
like, maybe get a lucky stick if they try to peek.
Alright, I'm gonna try and put my gen like somewhere where they can
Right, hit 34 blue.
I mean, we can try and hold
Yeah,
this
I'm doing
room.
Resident Evil 3 after. I'm probably gonna be pretty
Can I put
drunk.
my gen in here.
Yes, sir.
Kind of monka, but I'm down.
Mid to left.
Back. Grenading.
Like they have to slide down to peek us. So as long as we force them to peek, we're fine.
They're wasting so many
I need
grenades.
to, I need to charge my senses.
Why are they just?
Why did they? Right, Casper? That's what I'm saying.
I think we try to just peek them right, like all at the same time.
Also, Knock full heal.
High ground.
Explore this way.
Let me get fences down first before we try any plays like that.
They have no gen on the left side.
Oh my lord. Thank you. Dankeschön. Parody.
Give me 40, blue. They bubble.
Another team
Wait,
should
bubble,
be
wait,
fencing
bubble,
that,
wait,
but fencing
I
that climb
cracked one
up.
with my nade.
Yeah, they used a
bubble.
lot
They have a
of,
PK.
lot of
They have a
nades.
PK. We're gonna
We're
have
still
to
safe inside here. I think we're safe right. I'm safe. Wait, no, I'm not safe right here. Oh.
Oh my goodness.
We might be able to drop down and play Lolo, like right here. Set. I can just come with you too.
What if we all went that way? Is that possible?
Okay, so look, they were smart. They listened to me. They fenced off. No, they didn't. They fenced off.
I'm on the roof.
Weird.
On the roof.
I have to heal.
Oh, you're so lucky.
Why did he bubble that? I mean, it was a good bubble. Obviously, it worked. Very surprised.
I guess we can just play low.
By the way, I love the way Knock actually
I
plays
don't have my
Wraith.
ult.
Drop down Lolo.
He's very, very, like,
Are we
he's
good?
not afraid to play very
All
far
the way
from his
down.
team.
We have to. I guess we have to. We
I'm
can't-
scared. Wait, why are you guys scared?
Let's
Wait,
go.
are we
let's
safe
go.
right here? No, we're not. Fuck. Okay.
Yeah, I already tried that. Watch our back though, north right here. We might just have some team fucking pulling.
We just
Still
need to
some
play
good,
him talk.
some.
Nobody
I
should
mean,
do it.
it's a little monka shake. They're just like I don't really know where they go after this. I know the circle. The circle ends out here,
If
so
we get naded, we're kind of screwed.
Are we safe right here? You want to get your PKs out? Get your PKs out and shit.
A lot of people are gonna die. We just gotta play for endgame here.
You might be able to portal around, Brandon. So
Don't you guys like die kind of soon? What the hell killed you? Oh no! Don't tell me this spot's a bait sometimes.
We have to run through zone. Just let things go.
If they fight above us, we should take that.
How
I
are
can
we
give
gonna
us
get up there?
I mean, I can't really give us a zip.
You'd have to zip there, and then we go up and jump backwards.
No,
We can portal us
then we
around,
jump into a
honestly.
fence.
We can portal us around and probably play.
you're not telling me
I
that.
think we play for the portal play.
Okay.
I have my
Yeah.
gen too. Do you need heals or anything? Do you need a bat since you have gold? You have okay.
I
I
thought.
think we just portal around, and then we might just take 2 ticks of zone and just go in.
Isn't
to
there
be
some
honest.
like cover somewhere? Like up there on the top? I can't mark it. It won't
Yeah,
let
just
me.
see if there's anything you can grab, maybe.
Watch out! It might automatically put you in that place.
Remember it?
I got fed. Fuck, dude.
Okay, can we survive going around? What way can we survive?
I mean, what was the plan?
We gotta zip up here, Brendan, and we gotta jump like.
Don't get me wrong. I love knock, and I respect the plays, but I'm not sure what that plan
I
was.
don't know what to do.
I guess we just go. I guess we just do it.
That was actually like running it down mid right there. Oh brother. Oh,
This
Casper.
game's so bad.
Casper. Yeah, it's the
I
game's
tried to
Dude,
fault.
make it up top,
come
dude.
on, man.
Casper.
Running up, fuck, play, grapple.
Come on, man.
I don't know what to do.
I guess we just go. I guess we just do it.
Casper.
I'm
Dude,
dead.
this game's so bad.
I tried to make it up
Dude,
top.
come
dude.
on, man.
First place tournament champs, by the way.
Running up, fuck, play, grapple.
All right, well,
I was trying to make it all the way up top, but
I mean, I know what Knock was going with this portal, right? The whole point, the whole purpose is obviously, let's talk about the portal, because you know what, there's nothing to talk about with that zip. That's just Omega brains.
a lot of people are gonna
So,
die.
this is what happens when Team Liquid's IGL dies.
You might be able to portal around, Brandon, see what we can get, maybe.
That's what happens. They literally died his own. Anyways,
Same. We can portal.
I see what his plan is. Like, he wants to at least like get in here somewhere, but I feel like they probably should have known there were teams there. I mean, not just teams there, but fences there
Is there anything
in
you need a
general.
bat since you have gold?
I mean, they literally saw what they thought was TSM over here.
Yeah, I
So,
think we just portal around. And
I mean,
then we might
overall,
just
really
take
good
2 ticks of
rotations to
zone
get
and
to
just
this
go in.
position to at least get seventh. They didn't fight anyone, but they got a couple
Like,
points
up
off the
there on
game.
top, I can't mark it. It won't
Yeah,
let me.
see if there's anything you can grab, maybe.
Watch out! It might automatically.
It was a good job getting there. I mean, it's just
I
a
got
shit
fed.
rotation
Fuck,
in.
dude.
There's really not much more to say. I get it, because like there's literally nothing else you can really fucking play out here. Let's be fucking real. There's nothing. There's a team right, like literally horny as hell right here. There's probably like 3 total teams out other than these guys somewhere along this box.
Yeah, just see if
Yeah, and there's nothing you play out here. I get that like he basically had no
there's anything
other
you can grab,
options.
maybe.
Watch out! It might automatically.
So
Remember it?
I got fed. Fuck, dude.
also actually, kind of next. What was kind of next level big brain here though, by accident.
Maybe.
So
Watch
look.
out! It might automatically.
Look, so you look at this. So it looks to Knock. This looks open, right? I think this is the fence. Yeah, I think this is the fence that actually was like that actually ends up fucking him. But it's because somebody on this team is standing on it right now, and I bet you they just happened to strafe like off of it right when Knock got up there.
Remember it?
I got fed. Fuck, dude.
Yeah, somebody was like dancing. One of them was like strafing back and forth.
Okay, can we survive?
That's
going
unlucky.
around?
I mean, there's not really much more to talk about there. The rotations, like I said, were really good up until then. They just got really, really unlucky on the rotation out. Yo, Snap!
No, I guess we just looks like we're going drill though.
I don't think they're gonna.
Alrighty, well, anyways, so now they're dropping. So they dropped Train Yard and Drill. Also, I'm gonna cheers again for you, Snap. Thank you,
We're
homie.
going over lava. I don't know
Looks like
about
you're good
drill
for
though. You gotta watch.
Knock does this a lot, actually. Any extra loot Knock can get, he will greed for. Like, very, very hard. But yeah, I've noticed Knock does this a lot. He, a lot of the times I've watched him, like, scrim or whatever, is he will actually go, like, way... So, I believe Casper drops Drill. Flanker drops Train, and then Knock kind of drops, like, anywhere they can get extra loot.
Drop this off the
Light
edge for you.
attachments.
It's a gold.
So they actually turn, like, look at this split right here. Like this could be very dangerous, right? But the big thing about, like, I feel like this area in general is ignored by most people. I think most people just want to stay away. Train yard is awful to fight in or get caught in, so I think people, unless they have to go there for like a circle, I think most people just avoid train yard regardless. Drill site's just like, there's like nothing there, you know, the loot sucks there. So it's fairly safe for them to split like this. There aren't very many points of interest on this map where you can split like that and get away with it. But this definitely is one of them. I think Knock also sometimes like drops like out here too and like loots all this, but basically I'm a big fan of playing like this, but you just have to be you have to be very, very observant on your drop to make sure nobody drops on you. Because if you do this like kind of autopilot carelessly, you don't look around you, if there's a good team that drops near you, they will punish you for this, something like this. Now they're getting gifted a train?
Grab an armor and then
Wait a minute. This train wasn't looted at all? Holy crap. That's crazy. That's very, very lucky. There's the gold armor. Honestly, if I was Knock, I would just, yeah, I was gonna say, I'd throw all the armor off.
And vault.
The only reason he's throwing all of the armor off is so that armor doesn't like go around the map and end up in someone's hands that could actually use it. Effectively griefing other teams that could maybe grab it.
Purple bag, gold armor.
Take the gold armor. There's a purple and a blue, or purple and a gold over here.
And gold prowler. Holy crap. Man's got a gold havoc and a gold prowler and gold armor.
You need to get over here, Brennan, ASAP.
Yeah.
And flanker. Where did Flanker just get gold armor from? Did he get it from a cargo bot?
Take the gold armor.
Purple bag, gold armor.
Take the gold armor.
Oh,
There's
vault.
He's
in vault. Okay. It's hard to tell. This VoD is a little bit it's not as very high res. Right. So they got 2 golds.
Yeah.
2 golds, a purple, and Knock has a gold havoc and a gold prowler.
Yeah. Just leave. Come get this purple. We got.
That train actually was pretty cracked. Yeah.
I might just keep the blue. I don't want to waste time.
There's a gold havoc now.
Level 4.
Where's the PTK?
Casper says he doesn't want to waste time. I mean, Casper is kind of far away. He says he doesn't want to waste time, but I feel like this is faster than, if they were to rotate now, it would be faster than they normally rotate. What up, Surge? How's it going, man?
You gotta go.
Cheers, boys.
Like we have, I don't know, we have such good loot. I feel like we just bully people. I'm coming. Yeah,
that's not a bad call to make, and this is typically something I don't talk about in a lot of my VoD reviews because most teams don't ever really talk about this. But if you ever find yourself in a position where you're just like, holy shit, we kind of have like above average loot, it's not a bad idea to just kind of to be a little bit more ballsy and actually like push fights where you normally wouldn't. Because I mean, let's be real, 2 golds, you really should not lose a clean 3v3. It shouldn't happen. Partly because gold armor shouldn't be in the game. Well, for a competitive at least.
Coming in the tunnel.
I'm coming. I'm rotating.
Super far behind, but
Watson's almost cracked.
Crack, Watson purple. Still one in the back.
Pass behind. Blue.
Crack.
Dude,
Okay.
come on, give me one of those fucking hits.
Casper complaining about the scout apparently being too hard to use. Kind of crazy.
We need to move. What are we playing for? We're going up the first.
How can they fix gold without removing it? I just don't think gold armor. I don't think any gold equipment should be in competitive at all. I'm fine with gold armor and gold everything being in like pubs and ranked. I think, you know, it kind of like, let's be real, you get a bit of an endorphin rush when you find a gold armor or something, and you're just like, holy crap! All right, all of a sudden I have ascended and I can fight anybody. Right? That's a good feeling. I like that feeling, but in competitive, it just isn't fair.
Refinery?
Yo, thank you, Cameron. I appreciate it, man.
I feel like it's gonna be survey.
I appreciate it. Uphill battle, but we did it.
Well, survey too. We'll see where everyone's.
We've come a long way since WoW raids.
We have a range. We can definitely hold.
I don't have any range. I'm Prowler PTK.
Do we want to play for redeploy?
Yeah.
We're right here right now. Remember that team's coming behind us. We need to cross quick.
Yeah, we need to hurry.
Can you open this jar for me?
If we play together,
I only open jars for Pixie. Sorry.
Just watch, like, please just watch your back.
Up here.
Okay. So identical circle, by the way. Almost near identical circle if you...
I think we just send it in survey and see what we can get.
Near identical circles, almost identical rotation.
Wait.
He's right here. We could kill this guy.
Kill him if you
I
can.
see him, yeah.
Right here. 69 cracked. Need that crate. Need that
No,
crate.
no nades, no nades, no nades.
Okay. Back up then. Back up. We'll just focus on the rotate.
Getting fucking shit on.
I'm watching our back.
We're
Focus
not
on
gonna
the
be able to take
rotate.
redeploy. We can't take redeploy.
Okay.
We actually
Yeah, you can. What are you so afraid of,
Well,
Casper?
no, because that team's coming behind us now.
they're not even near us.
They're not gonna kill. What are they gonna do? Kill all three of you, Casper? Come on.
No, they're
Man up.
really on me. Like I said,
That's
like
a,
they're
that's a team
behind
to the
us.
north. You need to stop second guessing. Let's go this way.
Hesitation gets you killed on the
We
battlefield.
took redeploy. We were dead.
I'm
there, so-
watching our
Cut the shit. Cut the shit right now.
God, flanker. I love it. Flanker just putting the foot down, telling them to stop bickering. You got to. Someone's got to do it. Someone's got to do it.
This is useless. We're going to the spot where we can win the game.
I mean, we can hold
That's
this. This is fucking center as well.
I feel like that kind of player is very underrated on a team, but
it.
it's
We need
extremely
decisive
important.
Decisions,
No
though.
one's
So-
like holding up here.
Wait, what?
Okay.
Put up here.
Notice how flanker notices a little bit of hesitation, and on Casper's end, but it's good to kind of reel back the team mental and be like, yo, make sure everything we're doing it, big dick swinging. You know, you got to.
Get kills on the rotate.
I might hear kids north. I'm not sure.
This moment, as I always say, it's better. It's better to make a bad play or a call together as a team in any game. Honestly, in any game, it's better to make a bad call together than a very good call, but disjointed.
180 heavy.
Right?
Can you drop me a stack of light?
Cohesion matters more than anything in this game,
Thank you.
in terms of the team aspect. So they don't end up going survey this time around.
Binary side.
Versus the team on
That's
top.
that's already immediately the big difference between the two.
There's a team-
This is a strong spot.
This rotate's gonna be really fucking hard.
This is a strong spot because obviously, notice how I actually really like the way Casper plays Watson. I feel like too many Watsons try to huddle up and just take one area. Again, I've already mentioned this in the first game, but trying to take as much ground as possible. I think flanker, like you think normally like, all right, put the Watson, put the walls up, it's whatever. It's actually noticeable when you have a Watson that actually thinks about their walls versus a Watson that just kind of places them autopilot.
And reposition now.
Oh, I
then.
know, we need to figure out where it's going.
Sorry, I meant flanker. I can't believe I said Casper. I'm sorry, flanker. Flanker. I like his Watson. I like the way he puts up his walls because he, like I said, he actually thinks about it versus most Watsons that don't. They just kind of put them up. But right now, like you see a lot of these fences. I wish the minimap was better quality. I could like kind of draw them out a bit more. But you see, like he's just trying to cover as much ground, but more importantly, he's trying to show the presence that hey, there's a team up here. Don't come up here if you're thinking about it.
How many big heals do you have, Brennan?
And that's a lot more important than just huddling into a small spot
Phoenix,
and
bat,
holding
2
it.
cells, 4 syringes, 2 medkits.
They have a lot of room to work with. They have a lot of control. This is like a very tempo type spot, tempo control spot. If they all had snipers, especially like scouts now, they could fucking poke at everybody until the world's over. But regardless though, as an IGL, you can easily take this time to freaking look over everything and just kind of get information on where most teams are, how they're rotating,
I can give you a syringe.
all that good stuff.
Team fighting all the way.
I mean, I got
This is like an ideal kind of type of spot you want to hold.
I
The
saw
only
2
downside to this
slots.
spot is I don't think there's like an end circle in this area at all.
Yeah, I see like no one on the north side, so we definitely have that rotate.
Always keep in mind where other teams are because sometimes they'll know more than you. Say like from like a Pathfinder beacon or something.
Yeah.
What's up, Jess?
RV, the
Yeah, east side RV and see if we can rotate in from there. Can you like zipline us?
Okay.
To the east or zipline me at least? Zip me from here to here.
Hostile over there.
Interesting use of the zip line,
Yeah, I need to scout what we can get.
but I like it actually a lot. Don't ever like I do talk about this with portals, but like you should never be afraid to use any of your abilities however you possibly can for just information. I think a lot of lesser teams undervalue information like fucking crazy. Like if I look at a team that's like not as or maybe doesn't have as many like competitive accolades or just is like newer to the scene, and then I watch the top end team, the one big difference you'll see in between the two is how often the more, I guess, quote unquote pro team actually plays for information. Because I do a little bit of coaching on the side as well, for just like random players that want to get better. And this is one thing you don't see them do. So them using the path zipline just to get information for I don't know if they're actually going to commit to it,
Rotating down
but that
through the ice,
idea
around the
alone, I love it.
Yeah, we're here maybe, and then just go northwest when we have to rotate. Like the
Yo,
east side's so
you can
blind,
see
we have
him
no
drop.
idea what we're going
You can see
into.
him drop through this. I think.
Notice, oh, that right there. Notice that. Casper says we don't know anything that's going on the east side. We can't go through there, or that would be a bad idea. Blind rotates should be a last resort option. Even like a good rotate, like an informed rotate into a bad spot. I keep coming up with these like metaphors. I don't know, but a good rotate or a bad rotate with a lot of information is better than just a rotate with no information. That right there is like, it's
Yeah. Yeah, 100%.
information is king.
We have the loadout to do
Make
it.
sure if we take a fight, we're taking a fight for a good spot. It's not worth.
But notice how
fighting
notice
and
how
we
much
die
Nock
right after.
how far like Nock plays away from his team. Again, that's not at all like
I think
flame.
these are our kills here.
Scouting.
I think Nock is very good at
Yeah,
this.
Thomas, over there.
Stay over.
So, yeah, so we don't.
He does this definitely a little bit more than most teams.
You want my
Give us a
gold
zip
then?
back.
You should probably take my gold.
Oh
Then.
yeah.
Do you have a bat at least?
No, I have 2 Phoenixes though.
Okay, that's not bad. Also,
Armor swapping,
like,
good min maxing.
If we're gonna take spots like this, we should just over loot and make sure we're literally stacked on everything. But like that's not how we've been practicing. I know we're not getting beacons, but
We don't normally always over loot though. That was like the most we've looted.
I
don't
love,
think we
I think
over-looted
once we
there.
get 2
I
goals,
love it,
we need
flanker.
to
I like the
beat.
calls.
Yeah, I mean there's another.
Right here, right here,
purple
right here,
there.
Is he scouting? Do you know what his reasoning is for playing far? I think he has told me, but I don't remember. Literally, yeah, it's literally this. He is the only character on his team and pretty much in the game with an immediate oh shit button. So what he's doing is he's basically walking out and looking for. He's trying to get a number out, like a beat on every single team he possibly can around him. Not only is he wanting to see where they are, but he wants to see where they're moving too, because anytime, like any of these Pathfinders could have, like if he sees a Pathfinder team, that immediately tells him like maybe they saw a beacon, maybe they hit a beacon and they know where he's going. But in general, you don't ever want to rotate without information. So he's basically getting an account of every team around him, where they're going, where they're headed, and then what's available. If they were to just sit up here on this cliff and just chill for the whole time, like they can't. They might accidentally rotate into like another team on this west side. So no, this is really good.
Crack that jib.
I like when raids do this.
Team still out
I
here.
took this-
Because like I said, you never, like,
What guns do you
I
have?
feel like a deep pit in my stomach if I am rotating blindly into the next circle and I don't know what's going
You should
on.
have something
You
you do.
go, man.
I'm fucking shitting on these kids.
Making the call to give Casper the
Let me
armor
try to kill these
is also
kids
better.
up.
I'm all for min-maxing
They're trying to move
armor,
in.
giving
There's a guy
Watson
who's-
big armor when she's rotating
They're
in
gonna be
to like
crossing
wherever
right
spot
here.
you want,
They're
because
crossing.
you know obviously
Alright,
she has
give
no
us last, give us
mobility.
last.
So give her the good armor for that, and then when you get into position,
The race looking
put the
at
good
me.
armor on the characters that actually need it. God, my nose is itchy.
I see them. They're crossing deep through Capital. Through the middle. Like they're going through the middle of Capital.
Yeah. Notice how he like Casper's shooting, flanker's shooting, right? That's basically their job on this team. While Nock's job is to just look around, find all these teams, see where everyone's going.
Yeah, same right here.
What good the
Sorry,
armor
we got
does?
this, we got
Well,
this.
higher armor is literally more HP. Oh, you mean the gold armor in general? Gold armor is fast heal, so you heal 50% faster.
They're
Let me
rotating.
see if we can.
So the reason you want her on your Wraith is because your Wraith basically acts as an entry fragger, meaning she goes in typically on paper, like if you're doing a 3v3 fight, on writing it out. The ideal way to have it is your Wraith goes in, she does as much damage as she can, or she gets an angle maybe that's a little bit off that other characters can't get because she has no shit button. And then when she's in trouble, she uses that said oh shit button and goes back to her team. And then she heals very fast and then gets right back into the fight. That's typically why you put the armor on Wraith. Is so she can create opportunities, use it to be able to create opportunities, and if she has a gold armor versus like a purple, she can play even riskier because she can heal even faster.
Kill them below us.
Right.
Yeah. I'm coming.
Two of them.
not charging my shield. I need to look at this.
They're fighting a team. They're right here, sitting on the open.
Path has white. I cracked him. Get ready. The focus is hard. You got nades? Throw him.
Crack jib, path one.
Throw grenade.
That's
Just
my
focus,
only
no,
arc.
just focus the kills.
Crack Gib.
Flushed him.
CB's one. Fuck, man.
And this is why, I mean, a gold Prowler and a gold P20. I know Knock is one of very few pros, or just, I think, competitive players in general that loves the golden P20 or just hammer points in general. You don't see a lot of people run it. He personally loves it. I do find a lot of weapons in this game are preference. You know, you definitely want to run what you prefer and what you think is good. Like I said, he is one of very few pros that will run golden P20. But this is, even though this circle is similar to last game, the big difference here in this circle is he doesn't have like a sentinel, for example, or any long range. So his long range is lacking. If he had anything, he probably could have maybe even gotten a pick on this team down here or something. But notice like the big difference between not planting your guns for the next circle, or for the end game. Sorry, back it up. Not planting your guns for the particular circle that you're going to be ending on.
Did we jump on that? Are we portaling for it?
It's not going to be like it's not like a be all end all. Like you have to do it, but this is like the difference, right? You can't fight as easily.
Right here. I'm staying up. I'm watching high.
I flushed one on me.
Oh, excuse me. G412, thank you for the follow, man. Also, I'm guessing that you're a Pittsburgh boy. Welcome. I am also a Pittsburgh boy.
Oh, you guys, not with you. Nice.
I got a kill.
Flush with me. One.
Not with you.
All dead.
Nice.
Catching myself up.
Good
Is there one
shots.
more?
Third
Yeah,
floor.
should be.
Yeah. He's
I
crouched
hear
up
him
here.
healing. He's portaling.
He's trying to leave.
He's
If you
running.
can take his portal.
Where's he
Take
running?
his portal up here.
Enemy spotted.
I can't take it.
Take his portal.
You can push that. I cracked him. Push it.
Your name is actually Catalina. Okay. Does he refer to you as Katrina, or am I just out of my fucking mind?
Lined up.
Flush 45.
Oh, I'm getting a new team. I'm gonna self-res.
I was actually gonna make a comment about this play, but
Oh, they're fucking up on the hill. No.
okay, it is Catalina. All right, then I don't know who I'm thinking
I
of
got
as
third.
Katrina.
Yeah, they're
That's also one of the reasons I think why Nock takes the hammer points over most people. If you ever watch Nock play, either on his stream or just because he killed you in ranked or something, this man has the fastest fucking trigger finger I think I've ever seen, at least in Apex. Like this,
up on the hill. No.
look at this.
I got the.
He actually uses the flatline on single fire tap instead of full auto because of how fast his fucking trigger finger is. It's insane. I don't know how he does it. If I try to shoot that fast, I like fucking, my mouse goes everywhere. One of my initial thoughts on this push right here.
Focus,
only
no,
arc.
just focus the kills.
Crack Gib.
Flushed him.
CB's one. Fuck, man.
This is not a bad third party like decision right here.
Are we portaling for it?
And give us
What
a
are we
zip.
Bad idea. Alright,
Two
we
knocks.
can zip it.
I think I would rather people portal. I think the reason Nock didn't portal here, I'm guessing, if I had to guess, was because he wants to. He knows they didn't get the circle, so he knows he might have to TP on the way in for the next zone, and he wants to make sure he has it no matter what. I don't think the cooldown would have been. I think he would have. I think it would have still been on cooldown by the time the next circle closed. So I think that's why they chose to zip anyways. But either way, I respect the desire to third party here, but this can be a very fucking risky call. Anytime you're leaving, again, it's that hermit crab thing I always talk about. Anytime you leave a good strong spot, a team that might be lurking around is probably going to try to take that spot. If you go to third party, they might literally shadow you and do the same thing.
I flushed one on me.
I think this entire play is fine. I'm not sure why
I
Flanker
got a kill.
didn't take the TP
Flush
though.
with me. One.
Not with you.
All dead.
Nice.
I think he tried to like. I think he was playing underneath, and I think he tried to like slide out and get shots on the wraith. But at the end of the day, it's most
Trying to leave.
at the end of the day, it's most important that you stay with your team.
Where's he
Take his
running?
portal up here.
Enemy spotted.
I can't take it.
Take his portal.
Especially as Watson, like you have to like your biggest concern is Watson, especially when you're fighting. It needs to be like, am I close to my team? Oh my god, I just lost my spot. All right, so we unfortunately lose flanker because he plays underneath. He didn't grab the portal, and he eats shit immediately for it.
I didn't know they're there.
I didn't know they're there either.
There's a rat.
I'm very curious where they came from, actually, because that's, yeah, I wouldn't expect that.
Okay, you see that ledge up there behind you?
But they're dead,
Yeah,
or he's
they're
dead, so they gotta keep going.
holding.
They're still like Casper and Knock are still like, even though it's only 2 of them, they're still super geared. And if you're gonna lose any character in this situation, it should probably be the Watson, because at least, you know, Casper can queue out, you can kite around for a while on Pathfinder, and obviously Wraith has her own elusive properties. So with 2 gold armors, typically you don't ever want to lose your Watson, because that'll make you just lose endgame almost by nature, by not being able to hold a spot as strong as she can. But I think in this situation, it's probably better that if anyone died, it was the Watson. Obviously, you don't want anyone to, but
There's a gold box right here too.
You might be able to rest me, dude. Like,
I don't know if we can get to you
nobody.
I am a little surprised they didn't even look back for the banner, because it's not like they're really like hard pressed to make a move for a rotation here.
Nobody's around.
There were a lot of bodies where flanker died, so maybe
I don't have the banner.
Oh fuck.
maybe Knock and Casper are just assuming that team's probably taking a while to loot. There was a lot of loot there, so.
Fence is being blown
Block.
up, man.
God, I had the sniffles so hard. I'm
We
sorry.
need to figure out where that team is behind us.
Just try and yeah, you guys got this high ground yourself.
Yeah, come to me. Come to me.
Brandon has like no range though, so you need to keep that in mind when
We're
you're
here,
fighting.
Good calls. I love like flanker is like. I love flanker's kind of like a role, honestly, in this team. Well, it's not like his assigned role, but just like it's a very good teammate aspect and characteristic to have, where he's basically constantly reminding the team, like, hey, just the small things, like, hey, like, get your heads together, stop bickering over this call, that call, whatever that play. Reminding at least like, obviously Knock knows Knock doesn't have any long range, but Casper might forget that. You know, these things can be forgotten sometimes. It's nice to have that as, yeah, mental anchor, I guess is a really good way to put it. It's nice to have that mental anchor that kind of reminds everybody. Like, yeah, obviously it's like, duh, he's a gold prowler, gold P20, right? Obviously he's not going to be shooting long range at people, but the kicker is that those things, again, like I said, can just very easily be forgotten by
I
teams.
saw him close, I thought.
There's no harm in just repeating
Yeah,
something
pretty sure
that
like it's like a
could
right
keep your team like
That's a lifeline drop.
together,
Wait,
cohesive, so you understand what's going on.
Oh.
I'm surprised how like open this area is actually for this circle.
Can you
You would
here?
imagine this entire ridgeline. I would imagine like a team would be along this ridgeline, kind of holding everything. Here, let's draw on the map. Actually, I'm sure Knox gonna open it here in a second.
Come here. Can you look at this? Look at this door. See if that's open. If anyone's in there.
Remember, you guys don't have Watson either.
Hey, someone just portaled from it, I think?
From it?
I was gonna say you're high if you're not taking that Kraber knock.
Yeah, they definitely just portaled from it.
Okay, no. Wait, I'm actually like it's a very bizarre game, because like this entire ridgeline right here. Stop. Yeah. So yeah, I'm very surprised that this entire like ridgeline is just open. This is typically not something you would see, and the reason for it, I mean, it could be for the reason that maybe teams are starting to move and rotate, but I think when they got here, it was still like. No, I'm gonna go back for a little bit.
Dude,
Okay, so they got here like as the circle was like
we need to
closing,
figure out
so
where the team is behind us.
yeah.
Just try and
Like, look at this. This is
yeah,
all
you guys
open.
got this high ground yourself.
Yeah, come.
They could like this. The reason, so this ridgeline basically serves the same exact purpose that their last spot actually had, like up in the mountains that was over here or on the other side. It serves the same exact purpose, and that purpose being, you can use it to play to one, to control the tempo around you, all the teams around you. You know, take shots with snipers and whatnot, but also two, playing for information. The only reason I can think why there isn't any team up here is because of them maybe wanting to preemptively rotate to get to the circle that they think is going to be the next one. Keep in mind, this second circle, or this game 2, has almost an identical circle to the first game. So
That's like no range though.
that will affect with players'
you need to keep that in mind when
decision
you're
making and their mindset on going to like their
I saw him
movements,
close,
I guess.
thought. They're fighting in there. They're fighting in there somewhere.
Brandon, come here. Go through. Go through. You have
This
to
is
shoot forward.
ballsy.
Shoot forward on me. We're gonna zip line up here. Zip line up here. Zip line up there. Right now. Go.
That's big. That's one. Oh man, that gave me an apex boner right there. And you're probably like, what are you talking about, you fucking weirdo? Well, this, not a lot of raids do this, and it annoys the hell out of me. And again, this is something I touch on a lot in my VOD reviews, especially when I'm watching raids, is if you are the Wraith, and you are teleporting, and you are trying to make a plan, or make a play, it's imperative that you calm to your team, communicate with them. When they take a portal, tell them exactly what to do for like the next 5 seconds, because portals are usually like big split-second decision, like rotations. If a team near you hears a portal opening, they're gonna try to focus that team coming through. Like, you have to be very, like, if there's any time to act together as a team and as a unit, it is when you're making a risky portal rotation. So Knock right here telling Casper exactly what to do. Not only like, oh, we're just like, come to me, we're just gonna zip up to the silos here. He straight up tells Casper, yo, Q forward to me, and then we zip up here. Not a lot of Wraiths do that. If you are an aspiring Wraith, that's something you should do, to be honest. Tell your team exactly what you want from them when they're making the portal, because when you make the portal, no one has that like literal portal vision that you do. So
go through. You have to Q forward. You have to Q forward on me. We're gonna zip line up here.
That gave me just an apex boner right there.
Right now. Go. All right. Play like ghosts.
How this is available as well. The only reason I can think this is available, this entire area, is because of how open this spot is. I mean, it is open to getting picked at by a lot of different people, so I think that deters a lot of full teams from wanting to play up here. But it's perfect for rats.
Dude, I have no more cells or anything.
Sit on top of
You're fine.
Recharging my shields.
Here, dropping you stack of 2. Another one.
Here.
Give him a bat too. Come on, don't be greedy, Knock.
I'm not shooting at them at all now. Once the zone closes, these kids aren't really going to be able to peek as much.
Yep.
That's a big call too. The reason being that they aren't going to be able to peek as much is, as the zone closes, that pushes a lot more teams like into the outer edge, and then their main focus shouldn't be above them; it should be all around them. So that's a big call right there.
And I have
that initial Kraber shot too on the Wraith, even though it was just a simple 122 to the leg, which isn't going to be a thing anymore in this new patch. But anyways, might have seemed like just a random ass shot, but it was actually very smart in the sense that, like, notice how like they're not peeking anymore, and they're doing it exactly because most good teams, as soon as they know there's a Kraber, they're not peeking that Kraber anymore. So he basically asserted how big his dick is to this team. Especially hitting the shot too. It's a lot different if you have a Kraber and you miss a shot on somebody. The team might be liable to poke at you again. But because that team's comms right now are like, don't peek him, he has a Kraber. Maybe with that play again. That wasn't anything crazy, he just hits him with the, he just trades damage. What up, Kobaz?
I have no more cells or anything.
All that, like, it's simple. You might think, most people might think, oh, it's kind of a waste of a Kraber shot, you don't really get anything out of it. Not necessarily true. If he had just tried to hide from the Wraith, that Wraith would have constantly been picking at them. But now that team is like, oh shit, they have a Kraber, don't peek that again.
You're fine.
So, just one simple shot, but it kind of gives them a little bit more freedom here.
I'm just holding this.
Like I said, if he didn't take any shots at him, if he just tries to run from him, that team's probably calming. The situation is going to change to, oh, we got like some rats above us, let's just take some shots at them. But him shooting at them with a Kraber is going to change the pacing a lot for sure. When how get second in the ALGS, he was so satisfied because you don't have that pressure anymore while he's being first. Honestly,
right here, look. Nice.
Oh, Mirko.
Finish. Focus on finish.
Reptar. Monsoon. That's a big kill though.
Good shit.
You're here.
I'm gonna watch the bodies.
These kids. I'm gonna start beating these.
When you are a rat when you are two rats, any little point you get is going to go a big way, because you can't do it as much as a full-on team. So any easy like kill points you can snag are massive.
Try to use Kraber, maybe get like a one shot on him.
Watch the top where he's shooting. Yeah. They're gonna have to move here.
Crack another one.
They're on the right side. Dead, dead, dead. One on one, right here. On body.
Watch
Big
out.
pick.
Wait, run. Path one, path literally one.
Scraper already paying dividends. The heck was that voice, Casper?
Nice.
Fine.
Oh no, Brandon.
fine, it's fine,
Take zip. I'm trying to watch for you.
Silent zip, hog.
Yeah, what the hell was that
We
zip?
moved to the other side. I think we moved to
I've
the
actually
other
never seen the zip be silent on the client end.
I'm gonna die.
Good shot in the back.
side. Decide.
Bruh.
I moved late with you. Just stay.
How is he alive right now? What? Like, how did...
There's a
a
team
guy
on my
back here.
north
My
side.
anxiety
Yeah,
was
yeah,
through the
yeah.
roof right there.
Probably those rats under you too, maybe.
You have to make sure I don't get zipped on.
I can kind of watch it.
Just give me any fucking indication of being zipped.
Yeah, that
There's
was...
a guy right below you, but there's a team like north southwest of you, just kind of holding you.
Monka.
No, I mean,
This closes the
well,
cross.
E-boy, I think if you're talking about Hal...
If once this closes, we literally
Wait, do we
control
have
the
much just that's the one leaving
Another
flanker?
one?
Yeah,
Nice.
well... Other way around, I think, Rintaro. I think flankers should have been... The call was to take the portal, and you have to respect that. I think flanker literally just needed... I think flanker should have just climbed up and taken the portal with them.
Yo, fighting on my northwest! Oh my god, I gotta get me shielded.
Alright, I'm ready for this.
Yeah, no, exactly. Especially as a Watson, right?
It's out in like 5
Shoot
seconds.
jib.
I can't.
Go to jib.
I cannot. Got him!
Dead.
Nice!
Wraith,
They're getting a lot, dude. It's so clutch that not only they have
Focus
a
finish.
Kraber up here, they have a scout too. They're just gonna be picking at people left and right.
They're gonna have
Also,
to move. They
big,
might not have
also
time
a
to
small
rest.
but big thing. That definitely separates the top teams from the not so top teams is target calling specifically, and communicating exactly when you shoot each at a target, because at any point, like Nock is a Kraber and a Prowler, right? If Nock hits somebody with a Kraber, he's not going to be swapping to the Prowler to finish them off, and by the time he recocks that thing and shoots it again, they're likely to already be able to on their way out to be making an escape. So target calling is very important here,
You good? Do I do? Oh, zipping on us,
especially when there's only two.
Wraith one!
I don't understand how he uses the Prowler at long range.
Slide
I
off
suck
the
with that
top.
shit.
Hold your top. Focus on the
We gotta
top.
hold the stop.
Out here!
Edge.
Brendan's getting beamed from the back. He's got a heal.
I'm trying to finish, I'm trying to finish.
Brendan.
Trying to cover.
Right here, they're getting shit on. They're getting shit on, Brandon.
Wait,
Focus these kids.
I can't. Not looking. Dead. Where?
Right here,
No,
Edge.
they just bubble.
Oh, behind us.
Fucking way. I don't even hear that. Fight
Brandon's
him
got
off.
it. Brandon's got it.
Nice, heal,
Excuse
Brandon.
me.
Good shit.
Big clutch.
Take your time. I'm fine. I'm okay.
Dude, there's like no... Half the sounds Nock's creating aren't
You guys
actually,
got this.
not
Just
actually
keep playing
creating.
the way you're playing.
Yeah, you can get raised.
Focus on resetting right now. There's a ton
I'm
of
just
kills.
resetting. I'm just resetting. You try to get kills.
There's a kill north.
My
right-
question is, where was Lurdy's team? Hold on.
Where?
Oh no, Coco Puff's not Lurdy.
North, they just bubble.
Oh, behind us.
Yeah, why is no Coco up here by himself?
Brandon's got it. Brandon's
Oh no, it is Lurdy.
Brandon, good
Then what the
shit.
hell is... Where... Wait, how did Casper go down to Coco then? Must have been underneath.
Take your time. I'm fine. I'm okay.
I don't know actually, Parody. I don't think they would have been here
You guys got this.
if
Just keep playing the
Flanker
way
was
you're
alive.
playing.
Yeah, you can get raised.
Because the problem is like,
Focus on resetting right now.
when you have three, you would want to... You would want to set up and put Watson fences up and stuff like that. If they came up here like balls deep on like the silos trying to hold up, I mean they could, because let me finish one thought before I get into the next. But if they come up here with like trying to like hold the silos, you know, most Watsons will start like trying to like fence up or like get their ult down, and that shit's gonna get griefed by everybody. At the time that they got in here, that shit was gonna get griefed by every single person around them. But I have noticed that Liquid actually is also a team that I think when there's a full team of 3 up, most pro teams try to expand their area that they're defending as much as possible. What I've noticed Liquid actually does a lot is they're not afraid to just kind of like rat it out a bit as if they were only one person. And I think if they ended up here, I think they probably would have done that. I don't think they would have rotated. You don't rotate the same way typically when you have 2 people as opposed to 3. So I'm not sure they would have been here, to be honest.
There's a kill north right there, sitting still. The Watson's sitting still.
Where? What direction?
I think flanker being dead changes the decision making.
There's no way.
Huge stick, huge stick,
How
huge
are
stick,
those
huge
not
stick.
hitting?
Oh, that's
What
massive.
the fuck?
Focus Wraith, focus Wraith.
Got another kill.
Huge fucking nade. Goddamn.
Dead.
I'm sure some of those were
Nice.
down, but still.
It's huge, dude. This is so big.
They are doing work up here.
There's still 6 other squads, so just focus
So
on
Knock, if you're wondering what Knock is doing, he's scouting basically anything possible for them to play and rat as much as they can. That's why he pinged that to see how it goes with the map.
Brennan,
See
can
if
you
the next
zip
circle
this?
would be in.
You zip
Kills
this right
under
here?
you, kill.
Oh, on it! One!
Nice.
Nice.
No, I have no more seals. No more shields.
You guys are insane, dude.
Right here, Brandon, right here.
Yep, looking.
Keep it up.
There's one more behind this crate. 100%.
We're close to the ring. 30 seconds left.
Do you have a mech kit?
Yep, should.
You're gonna have to heal it first. I'll just try to just go in zone and just juggle and shit.
Fuck.
Wait, that fucking dude, that zip wasn't even safe. I don't know why I did that.
I was gonna say.
Oh no, it was safe. Actually.
Eyes are open though.
I'm pretty sure there's a guy right here still.
Yeah, there is.
10 seconds to the ring. It's close.
So normally you don't see the zipline juggle. I don't remember how this plays out from their POV because I actually haven't watched it from their POV. I think the casters were watching. I think at this point there was like there's still some like extras, but I think the last team is going to be a team of 3, and then everyone else is going to be a solo rat. Spoilers. But so this zip is typically something you see, like he sent it across the way. It's something you see obviously in a late game when you're trying to zipline juggle on the last circle, but it's not a bad idea here because they're basically reading this as this circle is going to be hella open. They have nowhere to play. So while every team is kind of distracted with themselves, they're going to be bouncing up and down on the zip. Very smart call. It's early to make a zipline call like this, but it's a very smart one.
Yeah.
Very smart one.
I think we both just juggle late.
Do not stand on top of each other. Remember, don't.
Because they have like nowhere to play.
Do it while zone's moving in, or they're gonna target you instead of the people under you.
Can I med kit this?
You're higher than them, so they shouldn't focus you.
Brandon, don't slide. Just keep jumping. You might knock me
Top
off.
4.
We get that at the same time.
They're focusing on Brandon right now. You gotta
That's a
really
drop.
Brandon.
Yeah, I can't do anything. Just to play alive.
I'm surprised he dropped
They're
there.
all self-reses. They're all self-reses.
Yeah, all self-reses. Try to portal hop if you can.
Not a big deal. I think we can get second anyways. Look at that. That's so funny. It's just a team of solos.
Yes, let's go, baby. Let's
go.
fucking go.
Let's
go.
That's
go,
crazy.
baby. You guys,
Thank you.
You guys popped off, dude. Holy shit.
Flanker just being the supportive
everything
teammate.
happens for a reason.
I'm just saying.
He knows he fucked up and died. So
Sound. Zero.
Yeah, I know. I didn't hear Coco come up.
he knows he fucked up and died. So he's that thankful ass supportive teammate who's overly supportive because he died early.
Who the fuck is designing this game?
I'm surprised that top part wasn't taken.
Hey, Flanker, I play Watson. I've been there. I've gotten picked before, and I'm just like, my team goes out hard, and I'm just like, dude, you guys are fucking incredible, man. I'm gonna gas you up more than I ever do because I fucking died.
Be going through it, but I feel like that could have.
Trust me, I've been there. I can only comment on
time.
this because I have felt this exact feeling. Okay. I mean, hey, not much to say. They turned a shitty situation from going to third party from a strong spot to Flanker being dead, second place, and a shit ton of kills. I think like what, 9 kills? Should have gone through portal. Yeah, 100%. Always just like I said, it's all about like I think this is actually a good time to talk about this because you hear me say all the time. It's better to follow a bad call together than a good call split. And that was that. I think that call to third party, that team was just fine, obviously. I think you only got 1 point out of it. But the idea is there, right? To pick up extra points, to pick up extra loot. And it was a good call, but you followed it together. You followed it split. Which ended up in you dying. So I think that's actually like, we always talk about the bad call that's good, or the bad call that turns out being good because you follow it together, but we never talk about the good call that's not followed together.
Wait, they did?
No,
Oh, okay.
You gotta go
Wait,
yonder.
you grab
Man,
it, you grab it.
train, drill,
Is this the
and train yard. It's actually so nice.
We have 2 blues.
We're spread out a lot. Watch your paths on the map.
Big?
I don't know. There's just like a tree one in
That purple.
We can play this spot again.
Oh my! What the hell, bro? You don't even get these kinds of.
When it ends 3, where does it
This
end?
thing is that 4 blue armors and 2 purples?
Okay, so I
Or
mean,
no,
we
1
don't have a
purple,
bad-
4 blue
If it's a 3-1, we
armors.
don't have a bad spot to rotate in, but if
Another
we
gold
run
prowler,
into
another
bro,
blue.
yeah.
Like, what is this train? 3 blues. Okay, I can't count.
There's a purple right.
Holy shit!
Go this way.
I'm
What the
winning,
fuck?
winning
Yeah,
on
it is 2
right now.
I don't really
purples.
think I'm gonna have time to go because we have to go fucking yonder.
No, you rotate to us.
Yeah,
rotate- you rotate
I'm
us
not
on
going.
the
I'm not
side.
going for drill.
That's like the. I mean, obviously, there's no gold armor, which is like the bee's knees. It's like the main reason you want to go train. But still, like another gold prowler.
You just gotta take your loot and fucking cry.
Let me know
Honestly.
if you can. Well, then give me sniper attachment.
They're leaving here minimum to rotate with 2 purples and a blue. That's fucking big.
I have a card
It's
right
very big. A peacekeeper as well, choked. That's also very big.
Being looted. I need heavy ammo.
He fucking.
now. I need sniper ammo, I guess.
So a big difference obviously here is they didn't wait for bots. Even though I know they like to loot a little bit more than most teams, it is a very good heads up play. I think this is the.
3 times.
Is this the? Yeah, this is the dome ending.
3 times.
The dome south dome choke ending. Every team knows to rotate here early, so every team is probably also doing the same right now.
I'm gonna go 2 to 4 times.
Oh fuck! Just commit.
Yeah,
Double
that's
balloon
fine.
is very
He's
good.
so fucking dumb.
Yeah, he's missed every shot.
Is circle safe?
Did he say?
Circle safe.
Hold on.
Fuck it. Commit RB.
Did he say commit? He's so dumb.
Set up
Circle's a better
everything. Set up
spot.
everything. Set up everything.
Oh yeah, that definitely takes a lot of practice.
Open door.
Thanks.
I'm just gonna put.
These RVs are like, they're so terrible, but because they're so terrible, it makes them good because nobody wants to push this because everyone will shoot at you. I mean, you've heard me talk. If this is not your first VOD review, you've heard me talk about these RVs. They're such a like, it's such a weird duality with these things.
I only have
They're
20
awful to
I
hold
only
if
have
somebody
20
pushes
sniper
you.
shots.
Save it. Save it.
But-
Shoot to kill. Shoot to kill.
That's the thing is most people aren't likely to push you.
I need to set
This
up-
RV, so they're assuming it's a dome ending, and this RV is obviously very good for it because what it basically does is for at least a couple circles, it allows them to basically focus on nothing. So let's just assume the map is here. It lets them focus on basically nothing but the teams all the way out here. It basically, so this team probably thought they were golden. That's up here in tree. They probably thought they were chilling. They were good to rotate soon later, but I'm sure they had a sinking feeling in their stomach when they saw a team rotate in front of them because now what was once an easy rotation for them now all of a sudden got complicated for this team. So they're basically installed here to be cock block for most teams and ensure themselves a decent rotation later.
fucking
Dude,
everywhere.
circle's still in, man.
It's your call. If you want to take it, you
No,
can take it.
no.
He wants the
If it goes
donut.
tree,
We
I
can
wanna
go
be
low
here.
and I can just zip us.
If it goes tree, I want to be
Donut is very good though.
Remember last time we had that spot. We
Here
also
in the open.
controlled back there.
Path one. Oh my
Besides-
god, he's literally one.
I like it. Flanker's literally, yeah, Jamerson, you put it perfectly. Flanker is
he's
literally the
the
mental
bar
anchor of this team, and I love that
He's
about it.
covering us.
I know I've talked about it a lot, but Flanker literally, like, a lot of the things I'm thinking just watching this, like thinking in the back of my mind of like small little critiques or criticisms, not even like critiques, but just like small little like reminders. Flanker's on point with every single one of them. And it might seem like a small thing to just like anyone watching or listening, but it's such a big thing when it comes to, like I said, the small little reminders are what are important to keep your team on the same page.
I'm gonna try and get some
hit him
fences
anyway.
up.
Because the situation could easily become a lot different
So
if
laggy, dude.
you know, I don't know. It depends on the situation, obviously, but it could become a lot different if they're consciously not thinking about something like that.
Are those pills north?
I'm gonna
Taken?
go, yeah, I'm gonna go for respawn again.
Follow the tunnel.
Yeah, they're not looted. You guys didn't find any extra sniper at fucking train? Really?
Why don't most teams fight for the other side of the tunnel when most rings are there and they'd have the high ground, avoiding third party if they are required to contest the position? So it's actually a good question. I'm assuming you're talking about like this, wow, this is a bit rate right now. I'm assuming you're talking about this choke down here in terms of the tunnel. Very good question, to which I have, I think, a very interesting answer. We've almost noticed, so as like this is one of like World's Edge's like most common and frequent and most easily readable circles, is this one that ends right here in this choke. So every team that's playing in this tournament right now knows it's going to end there or somewhere very close to there. So every team is preparing for it. with each circle that's so incredibly obvious, you almost have your own meta game within that circle, which is what makes, I think, another reason why I think VRs are extremely interesting, because what used to be so the way these circles used to be played is teams that were it would usually only be like one, maybe two teams on this end, and they basically won. They basically just win because of that. Now that we've seen the circle so much and people know all the strong spots in the circle and what they like, everybody has like their own, every team that's established for a while has their own like particular ways they want to play that circle. So now what you actually see, Rentaro, is you actually see most teams try to like rotate around and they try to win this this entire spot. Let's see if I can find like a big map. This is a lot better than me just trying to use their little mini map. So basically, like I said, so when this map first started, this circle, when we first started seeing, I'm just gonna draw like basically the end circle. When this one first started, the teams that won were always, it was always like one or two teams that played like out here, or like out here, and then they would eventually fight for it, right? Now, because like I said, this circle is so obvious, everybody knows it's coming. Now you actually see a lot of fucking teams. Like, you gotta understand, the more circles are played, like same exact circles are played, the more likely it is that, or rather, like the circle, the way people play the circle changes because of that. So now you actually see a lot of teams preemptively trying to go around and take anything that's open. Take this. This is a really strong spot right here. This is a really big one. This is what most teams play, but within that little whole metal game spiel I just gave you, eventually, obviously, you get pushed. You get pushed down towards the circle. There isn't actually all that great of like an area to play back here, relative to like wanting to also keep teams off of you. And what I mean by that is, if you play like back here, right, like right behind this, there's like a little rock you can play here for cover. It's great from any team back here, but if any team is smart and they're out in this area and they want to take you out and be that dominant team in a good spot, this is a really bad spot to hold, because they can abuse this corner of this little dome and they can jiggle peek you like crazy and basically control the fight at however they want. So that spot's not all that great. You can hold a spot, there's like a spot back here with like a bunch of rocks, which is fine, but if a team pushes you from, like, if they're smart, they'll push you from back here, and then all of a sudden you have to turn your backs to like all the teams that are out here. So all of a sudden that spot's not that great, because trust me, I've played this circle many times myself, and I've constantly strived to find what the best spot is for this. Ideally it is this house and then you just push forward, but there are so many teams now that fight for this area that it's not even all that great. I mean, ideally you do want to get there still, and you just want to try to find a strong spot and hold it relative to everybody else. But now you're almost seeing Kickerick, thank you for the follow, by the way. Now you're almost seeing, you're actually starting to see, like, towards, like, let's say it's like I don't know, the fourth circle. Let's say this is the fourth circle. Now you're almost starting to see more teams on this side of the circle than this. I mean, that's partly because when this like circle closes to like right here, excuse me. That's partly because when the circle closes to here, obviously every other team dies. But now I think most teams are trying to play it so like they actually hold this like north end. Again, every team wants to get here. They want to get here, but they also are trying to basically do what Knock is doing with his team right now. They hold this RV, and then they try to stop literally every other team from trying to rotate in. That's basically the game plan. And then and through that, they secure themselves an easy rotation in. Hot just popping in to say hi, love you, Q, to make sure to watch this VOD tomorrow. Thank you, Stu. It will be on YouTube eventually, dude. I have like 5 videos that need to go up on YouTube at HX. Anyways, I hope that answers your question, though, Rentaro. Good question. Absolutely good question. Obviously, like, ideally, I talked about this in the Rogue VOD, but that one's not on YouTube yet. Ideally, obviously, you want to hold this spot, but the problem with holding this spot is when it's early on, every team is looking at it, every team is curious about it. You get pinched from literally both sides. You can get pinched from anyone out here, and then obviously the teams that have this high ground, or even this team over here. early on, this spot's really bad to hold. As the circle closes, though, it's the primo spot, so it's a very interesting circle. I think most people hate playing this circle, to be honest, but it is usually very interesting how it plays out. But most of the time, it does. When it comes to like the fourth circle, whichever team is in the middle usually wins. But sometimes you see people like actually being smart and working together.
I was like east, yeah, at the.
But they basically, like I said, they
I'm
serve
fairly
right
certain
now.
it's gonna go South Tree. I'm like absolutely certain of it.
That's possible.
I don't know about that one.
I've
Not.
seen the ending here
Actually, it could. I mean, I
multiple
honestly don't remember where this
times.
one
It doesn't
is.
feel like it's gonna go southeast. I'm like actually.
I mean, it could be the one that goes like in
Brian,
here.
give
and
me-
shit, too.
So,
cover me, cover me. I'm coming
even
back.
though they have a little indecision, they're not sure where the circle ends. This spot is good because it helps both ends of that. It's not a bad spot to hold to like rotate in closer into the dome, and it's not a bad spot to hold if it actually goes tree. Like it's always good to pick a spot that's rotationally strong in the sense that you have options available to you, even if you're wrong. Those are oftentimes the best spots to hold, more so than spots that are just like, oh, herp dirt, this spot is really strong. I always struggle finding high-res
You
images.
have to be a psychopath to push this.
That is true. See, that Knock himself said it. Most of the RVs on this map are so terrible to actually hold in a 3v3 fight, but they're so good because all of the snipers in the surrounding area are basically going to save you.
I got a few fences.
They're
up to
very
push over
weird.
here.
They're definitely very safe, but just know that if you ever hold one of these in a scrim or high-level ranked or competitively, know that it is very hard to hold, and you have to almost try to hold it from the outside.
Yeah.
Oh, and flanker, thank you. Holy shit, flanker, thank you. Not many Watsons. I say this because like I'm a big stickler on like Watson fencing because I think, like I said, like you've heard me say, it's a very underrated part of Watson. Just a couple fences in different locations can change literally the entirety of the game for your team. Not many Watsons hold fences in this type of building. They don't hold the fences outside. They only put them all, they spam the living shit out of them inside, and it's fucking annoying. I also think it's completely useless because this is just a quick tidbit. If you are out there, if you are a Watson player in ranked or something and you're trying to hold this area or one of these RVs, don't just spam your fucking fences inside. The only time you want to spam your fences inside a building or an RV like this is if the circle is extremely small and you risk getting pushed immediately. Otherwise, expand your fucking outside. Use it to, I actually have particular ways I fence the RVs. It usually works really well and it stalls any push. I'm not gonna say it right now though, that's for secret information. But regardless, it's good to see flanker as a fellow Watson player not just spamming the living shit out of fences on the inside. I think it's such a bad way to hold this
They
place.
might be able to see the bottom.
It does nothing. It does literally nothing except for maybe like cause a little bit of a disturbance to whatever person's shooting you because they're looking at a lot of fences. But at the end of the day, it does not do anything. No one is ever going to push these RVs by just going, oh, I'm just going to open the door and walk into all these fences. They're just going to shoot you. They'll literally kill you from the windows. You know, there's not a spot in this RV that's safe from the windows. There's no reason for them to push you on the inside, so why spam fences in there?
Can you put it right here?
I just stopped saying so much at once. I'm getting out of breath.
You can grab that. Pretty close. We can cover with the.
A little small thing, I don't know if I've ever covered in any of my other VOD reviews, but another small thing, anytime you are a Wraith, anytime a package is incoming, always drop your weapon, because even if it's, well, I guess I was going to say even if it's like an L star, but obviously that's not a thing anymore. But no matter what, just drop your weapon, because it's not good habit for you to be going for packages and then going like, oh, there's a massive here, let me go back, drop my weapon, then I come back. Usually you want to snag that shit and then just get the fuck out. So pretty much anytime you're getting ready to port for a package, make sure you drop your weapon beforehand.
Going. Headshotted, one shot on Jib. He's their Wraith is portaling for it as well.
Not worried.
He's up above you. Cracked him. One.
6
He's
red.
fucking ripped. Yeah. We're not gonna beat this shit.
I busted
Purple
his gun
stock,
shit.
let's go, dude. That's the
Laggy.
end game loot. But yeah, notice he didn't have to spend extra time. He doesn't have to go back to the portal to risk getting the gun. Because realistically, so say like you actually leave, say you don't drop your gun beforehand, right? And he saw that devotion. If anybody that's watching that package with a sniper sees that the Wraith left a massive devotion or a Kraber, they're gonna be like, yo, peek this. The Wraith is gonna, like, their call is gonna be, the Wraith is gonna come back for the gun, get ready to beam her, right? So it's a very small thing, but it's a very good thing to do for practice. Even in ranked, that's a very easy thing to employ. Saves a little bit of time, and potentially your Wraith getting picked. Read my message since we're talking about toxicity. Wait. All I see is now that's a good boy. Hold on, I have to scroll up. Wait, can you also put in this VOD the talk between teammates? It's so annoying when people in Hal or Alb's chat go, oh my god, he's toxic to his teammates. I'm pretty sure I addressed that, Stu, in my entire TSM review.
On it.
Devotion.
Because I haven't actually watched what Ajax put in it. Like, I don't watch the VOD reviews back, you know, I already did them. But I'm pretty sure I talked about the whole team chemistry thing, because it is a big point between the two teams. Or between that team versus any other team.
R9 when I give you the G7 back.
Yeah.
I did? Okay. Thank you, Brighton. Because that is like actually a big reason why I think they are successful. It's not necessarily because they're toxic with each other. It's because they are able to iron out their problems right away. And I think a lot of people just forget the whole thing that, like, hey, like, even though, you know, you, the viewer, view this as like just entertainment, like just for fun. Well, not maybe just for fun, but like as entertainment, like keep in mind every pro team here, especially ones on an org, this is their job. They are pressured to make sure that they are winning and that they show results, both for their own good in terms of their org and liking them and wanting to keep them and not feeling like they're a waste of money, and two, for their own personal brand, right? Winning a tournament, a major tournament, feels good. It does very good things for you as a player. So, you know, the stakes are a lot higher when you actually put yourself in the shoes of the player. So, whereas, yes, Hal and them could say things a lot nicer, the big thing is that they get the job done, right? They iron out their problems immediately when they happen. They don't carry those over into the next game. A lot of teams do. A lot of teams carry those problems over to the next games, and then they end up eating shit for it.
I'm not gonna shoot
Yeah,
a donut.
this
I
is
don't
literally the
want
one that
him to
pulled it
look
here.
at us.
Yeah.
I don't want donut to look at us.
And I actually felt.
Yeah,
it.
the lag was really unfortunate for this
I
tournament.
felt it
You
too,
hate to
yeah.
see any team. I mean, a lot of teams
We're
went
not in
through
a
it.
bad spot. This is a spot we can
I
get
mean,
kills
can
in.
you?
Yeah, exactly.
Can we try and maybe get it?
They're all in a mutual understanding that like their friendship won't be hurt because of what was said between them about a competitive game. They're all like, even though it is business, they are all friends, and it's important to have the ability to separate the two. I found this out actually. Sorry, it's a bit of a tangent, but I found that was important when I ran my first casual hardcore WoW guild. I was literally the raid leader. I was the guild leader. I did fucking everything in that guild, and I found it was very important to separate friends and I guess business in a sense when it comes to raiding. You have to when something that is not necessarily friend or social oriented, when there's an end goal, you have to be able to separate the two.
There's nothing we'd be
Not a
able to hold
chance.
over there.
I'm gonna grab another beer. Hold on.
Right now we need to play for this side, controlling it
flooding
and getting
domes.
the kills
Yeah,
on
we
it.
need to play for kills. We need to play
Yeah.
for kills.
We just need to
we need-
control the side though.
This
Like,
team,
call
this
right
team
there.
needs to die, and there's a team on the low ground we need to worry about too. This team right here.
That's a big call right there. We'll talk about that right now. So anytime you realize, most teams don't do this except for the higher end teams. I've noticed this specifically. A lot of the lower, like mid to like lower tier scrim and competitive teams don't necessarily always make this, but this call is important. As soon as the circle shifts and you know you're fucked, which is basically what's going on here. When the call is made, we need to play for kills. It's a perfectly viable strategy, and all that means is basically exactly what it says. We need to get as many kills as possible before we die. That's basically what that call is. They're accepting that they're probably likely to die on this rotation, and if they can eke out any kill points, That's all that matters.
Have to move over.
Blue on that
You
race.
can start kind of playing more
Can we play
outside
outside?
now. Yeah, yeah.
We can play up here too.
Oh my.
Oh no,
That's like the worst. That's the worst possible pull you can ask for. I think I actually know how they end on this game, but
Can we portal and just set up on the in the cut? Can we try to see if we can if that's set upable?
is that set upable?
I mean,
Great call.
everybody's gonna be
Try to get
pushing
as
into us.
close. Yeah, everyone's gonna be pushing.
Dude, I can't.
The teams east are gonna be.
I remember how this game ends
really,
now.
Really distracted.
Good job, Casper.
We might just need to focus these kids.
We
so
might need to
get
look
in.
for.
I'm gonna portal. I'm gonna look for it.
I almost knocked one up here. There's bubbled.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. Can I have that?
Thomas, one.
scout?
Right here, right here, right here. Knocked one.
Yo, portal's good. Portal's good. Portal's
Okay,
good.
take it, taking it.
Okay.
Set up immediately, Thomas. I got my kill.
I'm coming.
I need to cover. I need
Don't
cover.
get aggro here. This is where we just need to kind of just chill.
Oh my God, IGL Casper. You don't see this one often, but when you come out, when you do see it, it's beautiful.
Should be one.
Try and heal. I'm just gonna. I gotta throw this down.
Yeah, you're good.
I'm popping all.
All right, so let's talk about this actually, because a lot of you are probably like, "How the fuck is this working?" I don't know if it actually does work. I think it actually does end up working, but a lot of you are probably like, "How the fuck is this working?" And honestly, the answer is, as much as like this is a huge point of contention, everybody's worried about the teams around them more so than this spot. So like something like this can easily work. I mean, obviously they're getting shot at. I don't know if they survive here. I'm pretty sure they do though. Casper, I don't think Casper and Flanker would both be in here, particularly Casper stroking himself to the call if this didn't work. So I'm assuming they worked
Shot in the back.
and they
Safe on
survived.
me. Safe on me.
Actually, they did because they ended up second in every single game.
I'm just gonna say here is a good spot.
This is a big spot
We're
though.
chilling here, Thomas.
I got
So
my
we
next
have to
call.
play really passive.
I have to use this ult at the end though.
I should have took the R9 back. Fuck.
It's okay. I got an R9. Good enough.
I have Diva Prowler.
Again, this is not a play you would see a lot of teams making, man. This is what I was talking about earlier, where like Team Liquid is one of like I feel like the few like really up there pro teams in terms of skill that aren't afraid to rat like this. And I think that's actually like, even though some people be like, oh, like, you know, like rat has a negative connotation, I think it's very smart actually. And I think it's very not honorable, but respectable that they're not afraid to do something like this. I mean, look at what it does. It gives them one of the best spots in the zone right now.
Watch this. Literally just hit Daddy. Watch this, bro. They're gonna
Look for a spot that's
Daddy-
really good gen.
Watch this. Literally just hit Daddy. Watch this,
Just
bro.
Daddy watch.
Look for a spot.
Casper, what exactly is Daddy watching something? I analyze a lot of these VoDs, but that's not a call I'm familiar with. What is Daddy watching? Like, are we talking about watching it as if it was like a child and you're the dad? You did not say daddy, you said daddy. You definitely said daddy, as in D-A-D-D-Y. There's nobody in the world abbreviates dedicated watching with daddy. Nobody does that.
Watch this. Literally just hit Daddy. Watch this, bro. They're gonna
Look for a
You also, the way you say daddy, like you almost like you wanted to say daddy. You know what I mean? Like you emphasize it, like you're like, daddy, watch this.
Watch this. Literally just hit Daddy. Watch.
Look at
this,
that,
bro.
like your voice like
look for a
drops like
spot that's
20
really good
octaves
gen, since
when you
guys are
say
out there.
that. There's no fucking way you didn't mean to say daddy.
We might have shots on these kids too.
There's no fucking way.
Watch out for this portal, Brian.
Is that a guy right here, sitting right here? Yeah,
Don't-
it is.
don't-
I'm
don't-
not shooting. I'm
don't-
not shooting.
don't.
Yeah, yeah.
Focus
Yeah,
full
we
north,
don't
full
focus that. Yeah,
north,
we don't.
full
Yeah,
north.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like
He's got
he's
data south
totally like he's
Spam
big
the-
on this
Spam all defenses you can, Thomas. Good shit.
daddy structure.
Right here, Thomas, in the open.
Looking.
Cracked one, crack. 57. Cracked the other guy, purple and back.
Daddy, watch
I got
this.
10.
Closing now.
Over here,
Closing
they have
now.
a- they have a
That's a
down
call
right
and a
here.
half right there.
We have to hold this team off.
This
We
is
gotta
our
hold
kills.
everyone
Yep,
off. This
this
is
is
our
our
kills. Yep.
kills.
Look, man, if you wanted your calls particularly to be judged, I'm judging them.
Right here, Thomas,
You
moving.
emphasize daddy.
I'm doing damage to all of them.
Everyone
dude.
hard focus,
That
hard
Watson's
focus.
one. That Watson.
This is such a risky spot, but like I said, dude, this is actually like, from a spectator standpoint, this is why I find BR is kind of like low-key fascinating, is like just small shit like this that like on paper like shouldn't work, but they just do because nobody else, because you're playing off of everybody else around you and you're playing off the fact that everyone else is busy. Because that's one of the things about playing this circle on this end, is that everybody is busy with each other. If you just happen to squeak in and rat somewhere, no one's gonna pay any mind to you because you're not a big threat to them.
One. Right here.
Thank you, Master Roche. I
Fucking
appreciate it,
one-timers,
man. Brendan has called me daddy though before,
one.
not gonna lie. Did,
Out in the open, rotating in.
did he drop it?
Right.
Did he drop
yeah.
it going from like a normal talking tone to daddy?
Right here.
Right here too. Get ready for nades on these kids at this rock right here, down low. Northwest. Why is this fucking gen shooting my shit?
There's a lot of people dying. This is that death rotation. Holy fuck, that's a lot
Right
of
here,
different
Ed.
colors.
Right here, guys, right here. There's a rat right here on top.
I feel like Nock just hit like
Dead.
6 different people.
There's
Right here,
people
ping,
over
right
here
on
too.
ping. He's
Rats
on
over
this.
here,
He's on
too.
this.
We need to get
What
up
the-
on this,
dude.
dude.
Push on me.
I feel like most of this is down people. Oh my god, the fucking death boxes, bro. What the hell?
There's people over here for sure. Guys, come with me.
And that's the power of rotating early, right there. You just you just daddy watch everything around you and just kill everything around you. I mean, I don't think you guys actually got a lot of kill points out of this. Like, for those of you that watch competitive Apex, how many times have you seen somebody hide in a tiny ass nook right here? I actually, like, up until this particular, like, hold, I've actually never seen a team hold this area like this. Like, this is new to me. And which is why I think it's actually, like, low-key fucking brilliant. I mean, part of it was Casper's call to scout this out, and the other half was Nock just being like, yo, this, like, finding, like, that little rat spot. I've never seen a team actually hold this like this. This is actually so fucking well done. I mean, a lot of it also depends on what other teams are doing, everyone that's fighting each other. Like, if this circle, here, let's draw. This is perfect time, and I talked about this in my TSM VOD review. This circle in particular is so fucking, like, the way this circle is played changes so much by an easy factor of like 5 to 10 meters. And what I mean by that is, like, if this circle is like, instead of right here, if it's like out here instead, this circle changes so much because all of a sudden just enough of a little bit more cover of rocks is in, especially on the right side over here. All of a sudden, like, this changes. I don't think you'd see as many teams just dropping dead. This circle is so sensitive to where the actual ring ends that it changes fucking everything. Master Rochi, thanks for the tier 1 sub, homie. I appreciate it. And thank you for the congrats as well. It feels, like I said, it feels good, man. It feels so nice to be able to guilt-free stream anything, not have to feel tied to just streaming Apex, which I don't mind. I'm not quitting Apex. I love Apex. I think it's a fun game. But I'm gonna be honest, streaming it every day is not always what I want to do. So it feels nice to not have to do that as much anymore. I still will stream Apex though. I'm not done with it. Got a lot of shit planned for it.
Here, Edge.
But anyways,
Right here,
let's
guys,
continue.
Right here. There's a rat right here on top.
Flash dead.
There's
Right here,
people
ping,
over
right
here.
here.
too.
I can't believe this
Rats.
HUD bug is back. This wasn't here for a while, if I remember
We need
correctly.
to get up on this, dude.
Push on me. Push on me. Push on me.
Look at those bodies, dude. Holy shit.
There's people over here. for
There's
sure.
so many bodies, dude. That's
Guys,
at
come
least
with me,
like
come with
4
me.
I'm with you,
full
with you.
teams.
They just res. They just res.
Yep.
Notice the discipline though. Notice the discipline here. Notice how not a single one of them stopped to actually go for loot. I like that a lot. They're focused on, like, they're focused and disciplined enough to know that they need to focus on absolutely making sure everything is clear. There's so many boxes here. Like Flanker, for example, could easily pick out a could easily pick out a purple armor and pick that shit up and be on his merry way. But they're more focused on killing everybody else around them, which they should be. I think a lot of teams or a lot of players in general will be like, oh, hold up, let me just grab this thermite that I don't actually need in this particular situation, but I have to loot anyways. Newbie, thank you for the follow.
Crack.
One.
Where'd he go? Rain? I got him.
Nice.
Dead.
All right,
Well,
now that every team is dead here, I want to talk about how earlier when Rentaro asked the question, hey, why don't teams just play to the south of this circle, right? You would think if this circle is so known, why don't teams just do that? Well, let me sneeze first. Jen, I think I have allergies. This is what allergies are like. My chat is telling me I'm developing onset allergies. Anyways. So this is exactly a prime example. So now, look at that. So there's 5 teams left, right? So now they are on the north end of this circle. There's 4 other teams. Every single other team is actually down here. This is exactly what I was talking about, how everyone now fights for the southern end of the circle. It almost makes it that you want the northern end of the circle if you can survive. Obviously, you went from like...
Fully.
But this is how strong now the north side is. If you can...
Reloading.
Look at it. Oh my goodness. Purple Evo? Oh my...
Taking it.
40 seconds.
Yep, we're good.
Flanker, you're such a good fucking teammate. Reminding the team that you only have X amount of time before the circle starts closing. You can easily get lost in that in loot, and then all of a sudden, but you can get so lost in looting that you forget to fucking plan your rotate. So, Flanker doing the simple, hey, we got 40 seconds. Huge call. Very big call.
Grab nades,
I have
grab
an
nades.
ass ton of bats. I have ass ton of bats.
Okay,
I need white heals.
make sure you daddy watch
Here.
where all the other teams are coming from,
Been to a
Casper.
bunch of
Look for knockdowns, look for knockdowns.
I'm R9
Okay.
PJ.
I'm good. I'm Devo, Prowler, still.
Yeah, emphasis on the accent. I love the way Casper emphasizes his language in general.
What we take?
So Doom speedrunner and get 3 hours 15 minutes to an alternate nightmare run and die to a bug? Oof, oh my god, that sucks.
I think we just portal and just try to fight, yeah. There's a guy right here. I think there's a
Yeah,
solo
yeah.
right here.
Yep.
Oh my god, look at
No,
this
it's not
like
solo,
cute
no,
little
it's
Yo,
cozy
where's
spot.
David? Okay.
Purple on
I
the
take
gym.
that.
These teams are fighting. Let's
Can we
try
kill
to
this team?
take
Can we kill this
control.
team? We need to kill this team.
Yeah. Right here, race.
One, dead.
Dead.
Going
They're in here.
Zone's gonna push him.
I don't want to grapple that. I'm
They're
not grappling
resing,
that.
they're resing.
Get fences up.
He's
Top
healing.
fences.
They're healing right here. On the other
Yeah,
side.
it's okay. Just focus our edge. Focus east, kids. Focus east.
Not doing a great job focusing east.
Give me one. Give me dead.
Brandon, focus this with them. Focus this.
I'm not trolling either. I mean, obviously, he's getting value out of it. But, you know, not doing a great job at focusing east.
Path one. Nice. Dead.
They're portaling in. Race one. Got
Crack.
Edge of zone, edge of zone.
Watch port.
Full heal.
Got him.
Not literally
one,
for
race
wiping
one.
RCO's team.
How on me?
You want his point? One zone.
Yeah, I know, Casper. I'm just joshing you, okay? I know the only time you mean for all 3 of you to focus something is when you call the daddy watching. You know, that's I think how your team understands and discerns the difference between focus east and really focus east.
Focus healing.
Healing.
I got melted, dude. We're third right now. We're third. By the way, second. They're gonna push. They're pushing across the bridge. All three.
Good. Race one.
We're gonna turn you down a bit, Knock.
Brendan's got a flank on him. Brendan's got a heal.
Love the passion, though.
Best he can.
Love the passion.
Fuck, I'm dead.
All right, let's go back to where this all. Basically, I mean, that's basically unwinnable with all 3 of Rogue up. So let's look at how Flanker died as best as we can, because I am only looking at it through Nox POV. I hate it here.
Got him.
Par for the course.
Race one.
On me. How on me?
All on me.
You
Okay.
want his point? One zone. Focus healing.
That's a good call right there. Always like your biggest when you're in the end circle. All that matters is that you keep your health up. What the fuck happened to Flanker?
Race one.
On me. How on me?
You want his point? One zone. Focus healing.
Healing.
I got melted.
What the fuck happened to Flanker? What the?
How on me?
Got like 3 taps.
One zone. Focus healing.
Bro, that's like 2. That's not even 2 scout shots. He dropped all of his armor like right away.
Race one.
And what- look at this.
You want
Here, we'll do this in slow-mo. I'm just like, I don't have his POV, so I don't know. I mean, Flanker going down is the reason they died here. He doesn't look like he's terribly out of position either. I can't even see, like, where the fuck is he?
One zone. Focus healing.
It looks like he's over here on the side. Look at that. The only thing I can think of is like maybe some form of sniper headshot or like wingman headshot. Like he goes immediately down to, or maybe it's not a it could be maybe a Kraber leg shot, but I don't hear a Kraber. No, it might be a wingman. Oh, wait, he's batting. Okay, that's where I fucked. I thought he was full HP. How did I miss that? Wait, maybe he was full heal or full health.
Got him.
Yeah, so he's full HP.
Wraith
Look at
one,
this.
Wraith one.
On me. Howl on me.
What? You want it? One its own. Focus.
I'm just
shield,
curious.
focus
I want to see.
shield.
All right, so he went down to like yeah. So he had to have gotten wingman headshotted, then like something else. I think he got double wingman headshotted. It seems.
Healing.
And the reason I'm kind of pushing more for wingman is not only the damage numbers, but Rogue, in my opinion, is one of the most annoying teams to fight because, well, we're one of the most annoying teams, Rip Huskers. But I think they're one of the most annoying teams to fight because they always run wingman, typically triple wingman, and they're all very good at fucking team shooting a wingman.
I got melted, dude. We're third right now. We're third.
I don't think it's a sentinel because I don't think Rogue would be would be taking a sentinel this late into the game.
By the way,
I know Speed had G7, but Flanker literally lost about 90 health, and that's not G7. Unless it's server lag, and this is server catching up, and maybe he took like three shots from it, but I don't know. I mean, basically dying here. Oh, wait, what's he doing way up there? I didn't even realize he was back there. Anyways, basically Flanker dying here is the reason they lost this.
They're pushing across the bridge. All three.
Good.
Then a straight 3v3 anytime you have one
Wraith
down.
one, Wraith one, Wraith one.
I see what Knock was trying to get the, like, Knock had to go for the knock there. Him basically trying to read that extra shot on the Wraith. Made him lose a lot of health, but he had to get it. If he got that knock, all of a sudden this plays out way differently. But he didn't, and they end up just dying. But overall, really fucking good. Rotations, very solid. Daddy watching, on point. All of it very good.
Brennan's got a flank on him.
Very, very good.
Brennan's
Second
got a
place.
heal. Brennan's got a heal.
Knock with 5 kills. Who knows however many kills the other two had. Very good.
Fuck, I'm dead. I don't see anything on you, Brennan, but you might want to be careful. Oh, fuck you, Thomas.
This is one thing, Casper, I've noticed that you guys do. And it's something that I was going to harp on you guys at one point for it. But, I know you guys, like, your looting is the most variable I've seen of any team. And what I mean by that, obviously, is like just it's not static. You guys go every little which way, and especially Knock in particular. He tries to find and snuff out as much loot as possible. You guys could definitely be a lot faster in your looting, like rotations, just in general. If you plan out the loot, or like Knock, for example, Knock landing right on flanker right there is a clear distinction that either Flanker's not landing at the same spot every time, or Knock has no idea where Flanker actually lands. It's one of the two. So, just that small thing. I mean, it could, like, you know, it's just a small min-max thing, but early game looting is really important. The faster you can do it, the only better off you will be. So while they loot, I am going to, instead of ascending, we're gonna descend a little bit, because you know what? Your boy's getting a little tired, okay?
What? I heard the heartbeat.
Oh my god. There's a gold armor.
I said I was going there, but I usually start other side. Okay, I didn't hear that part. But still, regardless. Knock knows, but he doesn't loot train much.
Maybe.
I mean, yeah, I've noticed the man literally loots all fucking every which way. And honestly, like, that's good. That is very good. I like the way you guys loot, because you actually turn, like I was saying, basically throughout this entire VOD review, you guys turn into one of the shittiest places of loot in the map to actually, like, god tier loot this tournament. Obviously, a part of that is luck, but the fact that you guys, like, have a gold every fucking game is actually pretty fucking crazy. Not only just a gold, but purples as well. You guys do a good job of it. I know you've been landing here for a while though, so.
Sure, you take.
All right, so they're playing. So I haven't talked about the circle much or this rotation at all. I've just been talking and rambling, but they're not. For those that don't know, they're not out here to rotate and hold dome. They're out here for the sole reason, and none other than just to get this beacon, which is honestly not a bad idea. If you can't get a solid spot, first off, if you don't know where the zone's gonna end, and if you can't get a solid spot in the zone, it's not a bad idea to just go out on the outskirts and grab a beacon if you can get one for free.
North side.
Because, again, another hidden strength of Pathfinder, I think I've talked about this in a couple of my other VoDs, is the further on the game goes, the less teams are going to be using a beacon, so the more info you will have that no one else does. So, especially like already, even just the second circle, beaconing the second circle is already going to be a lot better than most teams are going to actually get that don't exist in other games.
Yeah, we hold up. We hold.
Okay. Oh, this is okay. I think this ends exactly where their mark is.
Hold upper. We hold upper.
Yeah. We should hold this whole
Do
area.
you want to hold
if
the
we
RV?
can. Yeah, hold RV.
Yeah,
hold RV.
hold it 100%. Hold
Yeah,
RV.
there is an ending right on the RV, and I believe it actually ends in the
I
RV.
think
So this is
the
actually
one
a
that goes-
very.
This is the one that goes right
This
here.
is the one that ends
right
on
here.
us. No, it ends on us. I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
Casper, get out circle red, by the way.
I'm setting
Don't get-
up, just-
Out circle red.
I'm watching south. I'm watching south.
Get fences all around. Like start them like right here and shit, Thomas. We need to really play the west.
I'm watching her rotate.
Casper taking the reins and making the
Oh, yeah,
calls. Oh, love to see it.
How close?
I wanted to see all of this on the actual map, but for some reason it's not showing. So notice that there is the green line right here. So this is because it is the third or second zone. Team Liquid, if I had to guess, is probably one of 5 teams to hit a beacon this circle and to know where exactly the circle is going to end. So they got a really lucky pull here. With this being the first circle, the current one, and this being the Pathfinder beacon circle, it's pretty clear that it's going to end somewhere out here. This RV read is actually really fucking good by Knock, because he actually gets that completely right.
Literally in the best spot in the game. It's insane.
Cover me one more time.
Casper was like, oh, it's out here. We should go out here. I saw this in the last tournament. And Knock was like, no, Casper. We go here. We daddy watch this end of the circle.
What is it?
And I think that's partly just because of people's individual routing to servers. And I don't even know if that's in Respawn's control. So, another big spot play here. Now that the circle's a lot smaller, right? We're on the third circle. If we're on the third circle, you could probably guess. I mean, actually, not even guess. I can tell you right now, there are 2 teams hitting beacons right now. There's 19 squads total, right? There could be. So there's 19 squads total, and again, this is where a big part of Pathfinder. This is where Pathfinder's strength is really fucking is. You got this beacon, which one team is hitting at least. Obviously, this beacon, which Team Liquid is hitting. A team could hit this beacon if they're daring enough. So there's 2 teams for sure hitting a beacon, potentially 3. Every other team has no idea where this next circle is. They have guesses. They all think it's gonna end. I'm sure a lot of them think it's gonna end here. I'm sure a lot of them think it's gonna end here. Here, let me just circle those. For those that don't know end circles, I'm sure a lot of people think it's gonna end in those 2. There's some that think it's gonna end out here. There's some that's gonna think it's here. But one thing's for sure is at least 2 to 3 teams are going to know where it ends.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So what do you though? Like, we want to sit back there with you, Brandon?
All right, so the next circle is immediately red, and they can see that their RV is literally right in the middle. Again, like I said, out of 19 teams, 2, max 3 are hitting a beacon this time, so they know basically without doubt where the next circle is, or where the end circle is going to end. So again, this is where Pathfinder really is fucking huge compared to Jibby or any other player or any other character. But again, on that same vein, not every team can pull that off.
We need to play up here and then fall back here if we have to.
I should be back here with the scout. Like, I shouldn't be front line.
I'll watch the backside. I'll watch the backside in case there's any rats rotate. Any rats that rotate, I will watch it.
Yeah,
I'm gonna play circle
once
right
this
here.
zone closes, though, we can like, you know what I mean? Like,
We
there's not
can-
gonna be
we
that
can
many
control
people.
There's a lot of
So
BR
many
veteranship
people.
here.
So many
Your
people
next
banked on
zip-
it here.
Your next
Just look at how they're all
zip-
using this information to plan out this entire circle and what they're gonna do. A lot of teams don't do that. They just sit there and wait until the circle's closed completely.
This
You
guy's
don't want to
pushing
get
up.
greedy though.
But like, notice how they're planning what they want to hold, what they want to look at, and then they're also planning a contingency plan. If you want to be successful in battle royales, especially competitively, you have to have a contingency plan on everything. Your contingency plan has to have a contingency plan.
They're not committing yet.
Rotate, Thomas. Rotate.
They're getting a little bit. They're getting a little bit more up.
And usually people do.
You need to shoot them as much as physically possible.
Do we want to get
But
this
notice
up
like
ever, or do we wanna
notice
go back?
the
Fight for it.
the planning though.
Yeah, right here.
Is
They're
one thing I
right
really
here.
admire
They're
about
getting
this
shot by
team.
other teams.
Okay, try and kill them. Try and kill them. They're the only aggressive team on us right now.
Watson,
They're
focus
brothers.
swap, focus swap.
And also look how far Nock is from his team. And a lot of this, I mean, Nock was probably going to do it regardless because Nock just understands to do this. But a lot of this is also, like, keep in mind, Casper made the call, like, play as much ground as possible here.
What's that? What's that? Natural.
Now
grab it,
listen,
grabbing it.
listen. We might not be able to
Actually, I
hold
want
this
to
zone,
look
so
back
we
now,
need
look
like
back.
a-
I'm massive.
we need
Again, and I keep talking about Flankers Watson. And this is what I love about Flankers Watson. Not a lot of Watsons do this. A lot of the top end ones do. But even then, that's a small number. Look at his, like, they're holding this RV, but look at his walls. They're trying to just cover as much ground as possible, and that's what, this matters so fucking more than most people would understand. I love that Flanker plays Watson like this, because there aren't many that do.
coming up here, high ground, let's go.
On me. One on jib, one on jib.
I admire Ray's positioning and the team's calmness and patience on rotations. Yes, before we get into the thick of the end game here and what's gonna happen, I fucking love Wraiths that play the way Nock does. I fucking love it. It's so, like, the biggest thing you can do for yourself, like, in a battle royale, is like, look, there's 13 squads left, right? I'm gonna, like, highlight in, like, kind of, like, where all of, like, Liquid is holding, like, not as much anymore. It has changed since Nock moved in, but because of Nock's positioning and Flanker's fences, look how much Liquid is basically holding, how much ground they're holding on their own. This is one team. The rest of this circle is 13 or 12 rather. It's 12 fucking teams. So, like, this is why, like, if you are, not every team can do this, and simply showing yourself there isn't good enough. But you have to, this is why you kind of have the ability to hit your shots when it comes to holding extended ground. But, like, instead of holding one little fucking RV that's not even that big actually, it's like this big, right? That's like an RV. Instead of one team full holding that like most teams would, look at this shit. Imagine one team holding this RV instead of all of this fucking space when the circle is this. Now, obviously, that's going to change now that the circle is moving. All these teams are moving in. It's going to change a little bit, but I fucking love teams that play such a massive area because it's not easy to do. You have to be able to hit your shots to be able to do it. But obviously, Liquid is capable of doing that for sure. Pocket Hot Talk, thank you for the follow.
We don't need it. We don't need a tunnel it though. We don't need a tunnel it. I think you.
I agree, Coach. This is exactly like I love seeing teams play like this. Jack Doyle, thank you for the follow as well, man.
Got Jibby1 again over here.
I meant YouTube sub, but I fuck with the vibes. Thank you, man. I really do appreciate that. It means a lot. I try my darndest.
I am doing so much fucking damage.
Casper is the only player on this team that strokes himself to the amount of damage he does. Trust me, I've seen a couple of their VoDs. He loves it.
I got a kill.
Nice. Finish it.
There's still more here. No. He's full. Okay.
Alright, so the
Knocked one.
spoiler, the circle ends right on them.
Oh my god, headshot, I have to reload.
It's all you.
Headshot it again.
Right here behind this rock, Brandon.
Got my kill.
I want to know why
Oh my God,
I want to know
this
why they
Wraith is
challenged the
one
roof
shot
here
over
in
here.
comms.
Item
We
for
find
like
out.
300. Not 300.
Still here. They're still fighting.
For an angle.
It was just a mag. It was just a mag.
Full team. Listen.
Both X.
Full team behind.
Roger.
If your team is upset at that,
Fall back in. If we have to, yo.
Watch. You gotta watch me. You gotta cover me.
all I can ask you is, do you die a lot when you do that?
I took a lot.
Right?
Portal.
You gotta think about why they're asking you, why they're saying that. Alright, so obviously they were trying to go for a lot of different cover and a lot of different ground, which is great. But now 5 squads left, fucking everybody died. But now is the time to turtle and bunker up and just play together as a team and just let everybody else around them kill each other.
I won't. They're gonna break this.
Fine.
Yeah.
We got placed
right here. On edge.
I heard him portal behind us now.
Cheers. Alright, circle's closing, let's see what happens.
We're playing win, baby. Let's get it.
Focus the same
Right
team.
here.
These guys are gonna move
Hit
up
one
behind
Evo
us.
inside. They're moving. They have to move inside here. Focus this.
That's gonna be my most viewed clip, just watch. He's gonna clip it, send it to his friends, and that'll be my most viewed clip of the stream.
Oh no, someone else got the kill, I think. Focusing here.
Above us. There's the portal on our east. Portal on our east.
Okay.
They're on the rock.
It's only the team in front of it. It's only the team above us, and then the other teams are fighting.
They're right here on the north rock.
Always in these
On our
kind of
south side,
situations,
on our south side.
always
Watch the
identify
windows,
what your
watch our windows.
most
Have a massive. They fucking
important
think they're
threat.
gonna get shit on.
I'm holding my PK out.
I'm not gonna shoot these guys. I'm gonna let them shoot them off our building.
We have zone
We're
again.
still safe.
Nade.
We just have to hold everyone in.
Yep. Hold door, Brandon. Hold door.
Okay. Can someone watch my east? I can get peeked east easy.
Yeah, I'm watching.
I mean,
I'm
yeah,
watching,
if
I'm
they
watching,
guys
I'm
should go
watching.
down.
Yeah.
Thomas, be careful.
Thomas, just literally crouch over on us, so we just take literally 0 damage.
Dead.
Right here. Crack, how's one? The team above us is dead.
Okay.
By the way.
Yep. It's team south and then team west. We should focus TSM. Focus
TSM West.
Focus
TSM
Yeah,
West.
TSM here.
The focus TSM call. Classic among competitive Apex.
90 on the purple Watson.
20 light. I have 20 light left. 20 light left.
No.
Here. Oh, don't take all that. Okay, there you go.
They're moving in.
Somebody needs to watch west.
I'll watch.
I mean east. Sorry, east.
Oh, we're getting naded.
Hit him. 38 gold.
We might get a rest on.
Spam more fences. We need to spam more fences. They're portaling above.
Okay. Play safe. Full heal.
Remember, this is the last two teams. If
Yep.
we see Nox, we need to make a play on it.
I'm very curious how you guys don't win this one. Not saying you should, Casper, but I'm curious how you guys don't.
So they're on the roof and then moving in from the north, right?
Yeah. We're in bubbles. We need to get these kills. We're gonna lose.
No, don't climb.
No, I'm not climbing at all.
Are we so we're just double teaming
Yeah,
these
we're gonna have
guys?
to focus them. One shot on Jibs.
Need a bat.
Casper, where's the other team? Obviously, you got the TSM above you. Where's is it Fnatic? I don't know. Where's the other team that's here? I actually don't know where they are in this. They're behind the rock? Okay.
How's one dead?
I kind of want that as like a sub alert. I'm not gonna lie. Hold on, let's go back to that.
How's one dead?
I don't think I've ever heard more passion in Casper's voice than that one quick line. Hal's one dead. That's not even Hal, Casper. That's not even Hal. But I love it. I love the passion regardless. Oh, did you say Alb? I think you said Hal.
How's one dead?
I'm climbing up.
Got raid.
I'm healing.
One on Watson.
I'm healing.
Watson's one.
I'm healing also.
One shot. No big kills. They just got a res.
They res.
Flanker, why are you not healing?
Moving up.
I got knocked.
No way, dude.
I can't see their perspective, so I don't know where this fight went wrong. But Flanker not full healing, that's a throw right there.
Hold the door. Yeah, I got him.
Nice. Res.
I can't.
If you can, actually don't.
I mean, that's a big second place. That's a big second place, but Flanker, why did you not heal here? So, you gotta knock on reps.
Moving up.
I got.
That doesn't mean, I don't think that necessarily means you have to push.
I got knocked.
Like, here's the thing, right? 3 squads left. I think they're all full, right? Any team that gets knocked, that team is gonna get sent on, most likely by the other team that's there. It's hard to tell without like seeing every fucking perspective. It's like if I'm only looking at Nox and I'm only looking at the kill feed, I can only go off what I see. But like Flanker right here is at like a total of like 70 health, maybe like 68 health. Right, this is nothing.
Moving up.
That's an easy PK shot.
I got knocked.
I mean, what is nice to see is that you guys all followed the push call. You know, that's something you don't see in a lot of teams. So that's at least like that's a positive of it. But I think that inherently that was probably the wrong call, and that's fundamentally what was probably wrong more than anything. Flanker did well on following the call though. Once you got the knock, yeah, absolutely. You just reset, like you have to like think like just because you got a knock doesn't mean you have to fucking get horny and finish it immediately. Getting a knock, all that getting a knock means is that you buy yourself time to do whatever the fuck you need to do for the next, I don't know, 5 to 10 seconds. Like getting a knock is such a big part. It's important to play on that advantage in terms of like, shit, get your health up, pop a cell, even just a syringe, and all of a sudden you'll be in like a way better spot. Especially when there's one other team left. Yeah, exactly. The knock, if you've played any MOBAs, and I only say this because I played a shit ton of MOBAs myself, the knock just makes space for you to act. It gives you time to think about what your next move is. It just buys more time more than anything. It doesn't mean you have to act on it. It's not fucking Call of Duty Warzone where they fucking self-res in 1.5 seconds, 2 seconds, whatever the hell the time is, right? It's Apex. Things take a little bit of time to restart. I think the call to push was a bit horny. I get it. I mean, there's a lot of feelings, you know, Fnatic, TSM, all last 3 circles. You guys got the circle, 3 squads left. You can technically afford to make a mistake. But bit of a horny call for sure.
Hold the door! Yeah, I got him.
Nice.
I can't.
Actually don't. Play for the win. Play for the win.
I mean, at the end of the day, you got second, so that's good. And I mean, in fact, that's why you guys won the tournament, to be honest. Third party is waiting on the first knock to go in, so they should have a healed, wait for the third, and just finish the fight. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Well, even then, Casper, like, I would honestly argue, like, you just keep knocking them. Because the problem is, if you ever, so like, even if they keep rezzing, the problem is if you ever full send a fight, that's exactly what that third team is waiting for. And then they're gonna clean you up. That's exactly what they're waiting for. So if anything, all you have to do is basically bait that third team to come in and clean up, and then you go and clean up. Whatever that means in that particular scenario for you to do. But that's what that team is waiting for. They want to see you go in, and they want to see you guys clean up or try to get more knocks because they want more of a commitment from you guys. But the more, again, it's hard to say how the game would have played otherwise, but if you guys had just played for your lives more so than trying to be horny on TSM, you could have won the game. Again, obviously in the long run it doesn't matter, you guys won the tournament regardless, but you know, we should look at things from a game-to-game perspective and talk about what could have went better to actually win the game. I think that's definitely one of them.
I just died instantly. Like,
It's all good.
Yeah, exactly. That's one thing. Like, it's so much easier for me to just sit here and keep rewinding the footage and keep talking about the footage. It's a lot easier for me to do that than, like, you know, talk about, like, than the people that are in the moment feeling all the adrenaline and emotions. But this is also why we VOD review, though, because it's important to learn from moments like this. Because when this scenario happens again, when it's a full 3 stack of, or when it's 3 full teams of 3 really good players, you know, this is how you learn. This is exactly how you learn. So
I did so much damage with my massive up there.
yeah, you showed me your stiffy. We get it. You daddy watched all over him. But either way, another second place. Very fucking good. Really good creative use of the beacon that was in Dome. That fucking paid dividends for you guys. That got you so many fucking points. That beacon alone. So very good. Much agree with basically all of your guys' fucking calls. Yes. Oh my god, you're about to get banned, Zap.
I knew I couldn't move up.
Nice you. Flaker is also super selfless and it helps. Yeah, I've noticed that. Your guys' team, you guys are actually more cohesive as a team than most other teams that I've done period in VOD reviews. Like Flanker in general, I love the way Jamerson put this. Flanker in general is such a good fucking like mental anchor for you guys. Because I've noticed like you and Knock sometimes go at it with like either the comms or just in general like the theory crafting of what you guys think you should do. And Flanker is kind of like just that mediary like voice that's just like, shut up, we're doing this, or even just in like he's good at reminding you guys of past flaws that you should be wary of in a situation that he sees as similar to one in the past. Like that, this is the first VOD review I'm doing where that doesn't exist on any other team that I've seen. Necessarily, like in that, like in that type of role that he fulfills. Like he's actually, I like it a lot.
Here, Pat.
I like it a lot.
Hit him.
Watson moving up.
It is always the Watson. Yes, it is always the Watson, typically, because the Watson is the one that can't fuck up.
So far.
The Watson, if the Watson fucks up, Watson's dead. Path can Q, Wraith can also Q. The Watson's just fucking dead. Reps does come very close, but I don't think Reps does it to this degree. If you've been sitting here, if you've been watching this entire VOD review, I don't think Reps serves as this mental, like Reps is definitely like a mediary between Hal and Alb, 100%. But Reps is more like he does it more from like their personalities and their clashing personalities within the game. Flanker in general, like he does a little bit of that, but he also like is just like, hey, remember we fucked this up or we did this, we just remember to do this right here, right? None of what Flanker has said in terms of that like role has been pointless. Everything Flanker has said thus far has been very fucking good and has been very efficient, more or less. It's an efficient communication that he has. In fact, like as a mental anchor, he's probably the best one I've seen yet. I'm gonna go ahead and say it right now. I know it's not something most people think about. Stamp. Boom. He's the best mental anchor I've seen so far.
6 points from TSM.
Best mental anchor. Yeah, the stamp, the hodsic VOD review stamp of approval. It's an official thing. Ajax, edit that in. He's not even gonna see this. That motherfucker probably watches these VODs on like 5 times speed and then puts them, edits them together. Alright, so let's see.
Need to really be focusing this.
Okay. I know we haven't been talking about this VOD a lot, but I have been like loosely watching as I've been here, let's see where this goes actually.
I'm going off the building to get an angle. I'm right here with you.
We don't want to get pushed from Raj.
Alright, so this is actually a very ballsy call, right? Round 3, 13 seconds left to close on the circle here. Nock is TPing for a third party, which is not a bad TP, but keep in mind the circle is closing. This is something like you typically want to be aware of, unless you're extremely confident that you're not going to need the portal. I typically wouldn't recommend portaling when it comes to the circle closing. I'm not saying this portal in particular is bad by any means, but just be careful when you do stuff like this. You know, it's one of those things where like you don't always want to emulate what pros do, but you certainly want to try to understand what they do.
Dude, this fucking lag is tremendous.
I think portaling for a third party is a very valid strategy, especially when like keep in mind they're also at this point they're in first place. I think it was by 9 points. I think going into this game or going into game 4, I forget which one it was exactly. They were in first place by 9 points. Second place was a 3-way tie with 32, I think. 6 points. Okay, there it is. So keep in mind him, like, with the circumstance that going into play into this game, that's huge, right? Portaling for a third party, getting any extra points, and obviously killing a team also means that there's less squads in the game, so you get some placement points as well. Is very big. This is not a bad portal at all. They're very confident that they're obviously that they're not going to need the portal for the next one. Part of it is also Flanker and Nock have white armor too, right? If Flanker and Nock are chilling with both purples, maybe they don't make this portal, maybe they make a zipline instead. You know, that your gear affects your decision making a lot. I am more than certain that the white armors had had part of a decision making process within Nock, like in the back of his mind when he made the portal.
Are we pushing up on this?
Yeah.
But I do love the portals for a third party for sure.
One down.
Moving in.
Banana bread going down.
One.
Nice.
You're not safe there.
Sorry, sweet.
Shit, guys.
Buddy. Yo, gold.
I love Nock shit talk. I don't know why. It feels so real, but it's also banter at the same time. It's very unique. Not many people can pull that off.
Another gold knockdown in that.
So much fucking loot.
I'm scout right now.
Looting too much.
Oh my god, I can't tell you, Casper, how much I love that kind of call. very few teams are actually like consciously talking about how much they loot. That's such a fucking nice call. Nice to hear. You love to hear it. Looting too much in the sense that obviously the circle, they probably didn't get the next circle, so they need to keep in mind where they're going next. Especially as the game progresses, you have less and less time in between each circle to look at your next rotation. So if they just sit here looting for like the next minute, all of a sudden they don't know where they're even going. I think that call, that is such a small call that goes such a long way. You won't hear it, but you'll see it when everyone stops looting.
I'm R9 Scout. I only have like a 1x2 on it though.
I need a fucking heavy mag, man.
Yeah, I kinda
I'm greedy for loot. I'm greedy for loot. I need a heavy mag. I need one.
Look for a sight. Look for a sight.
Yep. You guys need light ammo? You need light ammo. Let me know.
I have 150.
Knock? Are you okay?
Here. No, I got it. I got you. Come here. Like literally like 200 right there.
You have a purple. Am I out of my mind?
I'm gonna start moving.
Knock, you have a purple.
TSM can feed either, by the way.
They have one kill.
They've got one. They've one. Can you cover me? I'm moving up these fences.
Am I out of my mind?
140 on Wraith.
Grabbing light ammo for you guys.
Right here, this team's on edge too. They're gonna have to move in.
Yep. Grabbing light ammo for you guys.
Mirage should
I
not
need
push off.
shield heals if you got
I
extra.
have 6 bats. I dropped some on the floor too.
I have 3 cells right now. 1 Phoenix.
Under bridge.
Remember when 40 seconds ago Casper said we're looting too much? Not even 40, 50 seconds ago. Nox said, or Casper said we're looting too much. You remember that?
I feel like there's a rat under here, bro.
Jesus. Oh my god, this is actually triggering me right now.
Grab those shells.
Why do you have 3 stacks of light that you're not using?
Here, come grab this light ammo if you need it.
Okay, that's fine. That's my bad. You're doing it for your team, Knock. You're doing it for your team. That's my bad.
Lots of fighting down here, guys.
I will admit that.
Drop the medkit behind me.
He's looting for his team. That's fine.
I'm looking.
I'm
I'm
going
looking.
back for shit.
Go away.
Actually, I can't.
Let's just focus on them.
I'll hold light
God, I
ammo.
can't find the source on this porn from my friend.
Mirage trying to look at us. Up on high ground right here.
I'm just reading chat.
Yo, on edge, Reddit, over here.
Either way, at the end of the day, it's not gonna hurt the rotation. They're still good. They're still in. It's just fine.
Right now, go.
I'm gonna peek from track. I'm peeking from track.
Yep.
Same.
It's just the small things, you know what I
Out in
mean?
the open.
See him? Don't tunnel. We need to watch our back.
I'm watching. Just hold it.
I'm not gonna lie. I was waiting for like the epiphany for him to be like, oh, I already have a purple mag. I was really waiting for that, but I never got it, and now I'm kind of upset.
Thomas, that guy's one. Right here.
I'm getting a better angle with you. Running across the bridge right here, Brem, too. We gotta be careful.
Crack, path
54.
one. There's no way, bro.
How do you guys feel about ranked and pubs having different loot tables? 100%.
Let's go.
Yes! Thomas,
Right here, Brandon, they're stuck.
You need to get fences on this.
I love it. I love the passion, baby. I fucking love it, to be honest.
There's two teams Mirage.
100% for it,
We need to
Swoosh.
full focus our-
And actually, I would balance them differently, and then I would call ranked competitive instead of ranked, because I think those two distinctions are very important.
East.
Yeah, we just
They
need to
will.
hold
They will
this.
not push us unless we die. They will not push us.
You guys will focus that. I'll keep east.
I'm gonna get set up. I'm focusing on setup.
Blue,
here. I'm
blue, gray
focusing-
underneath Mirage. Blue, gray, blue, gray.
Listen. I'm focusing on my setup here. Okay?
Yep. Yeah, I'm watching. I'm covering.
Big call right there. I like that flanker. Very, like, you guys, not gonna lie, you guys really, like, I love the way you guys make it known to your teammates and make sure your teammates know exactly what you're doing and what your plan is. I love that. Like I said, I watch a lot of other top teams, and that little bit is, like, lost on sometimes. That's such a big fucking thing for, like, team chemistry in general. Like, hell, in fact, one could argue that you could have really good communication, like zero chemistry, but as long as you have good communication, that fills the void of bad chemistry, you know? In general, regardless, I love the fact that, like, right there, like, flanker was like, yo, I am only doing, this is all I'm doing right now, and he's adamant about it. It's important, it's very important. So right here, like, the reason he said all that was because if you look, flanker basically just set up their next rotation in, and this zone is for the next zone, or this area. which is, again, that's also not a thing you see a lot of Watsons do, because typically, excuse me, you can't always do that. So right now they're playing it really safe out here, where they're for sure going to be safe. No team is going to come from anywhere over here. All they have to do is kind of look around, keep teams away from them, and then they rotate to this as soon as their next circle closes. That's really big. That's a very heads-up play on flanker's part. Literally also anchoring in a different sense of the word as well.
Watching me, they can see me.
Okay.
I'm the Mirage.
Sure.
What sites do you have, Brendan? Do you have like an extra site on
I have a
your...
1x.
But they're mad chilling. They don't have to go that far, man.
Oh, no.
This team is really trapped, guys. They're trapped. We're portaling.
Can you zip me to you, maybe? Oh, they're looking at you from Mirage.
We need to watch this. They can easily zip this and take this, guys.
Okay, Brandon, you should...
Zipping. Oh, it's you.
You're firing down low. I have 2.
Yes,
ultimates,
I mean
so-
flankering.
Or I have 1.
Love the early morning in Pittsburgh. Hey, we know you fucked up when you hurt. Sorry. Yeah, I
I
know.
don't want to get beamed when they come up this. I can go back over though.
It's actually still pretty
I'm not
dark.
safe over there, though.
Oh, it's not even 6 in the morning.
Yeah, but
That would
the
make
best spot on
sense.
the map right now. They're gonna look to come.
Again, identifying your weakest points or points easiest to fuck over on rotations. A lot of fighting still going on down there. Fnatic Muffins.
He's one. I think that's
There's no way they survived that.
Yeah, that was Mac. That was Mac.
Yeah, they don't. They died into the ring.
One shot.
I almost knocked one up top.
Oh, on me! One dead! Got him! Got out!
Nice. That's fucking TSM, baby.
We have zone! Play here!
At that point,
Shut up! Let's play!
Let's get this.
I love it, Knock. I mean, it's good to keep your team centered, but let's be real. I think they all knew at that point.
It's fucking Mirage. I just shot Mirage.
I think at that point they knew they won.
Team low has white and blue.
No, I absolutely love the energy, dude.
I'm watching top.
There's nothing better than hearing like
No nades, no nades.
Covering.
just a team scream anything passionately.
Here.
I'm watching the top.
Thomas, watch
Nothing
the top
better.
right. I mean, you need to kill these kids
I'm
on the side.
covering
They're
top.
literally so.
I will
That's something I was talking about a lot in my TSM VOD review with reps, dude.
Hold on.
Peek it.
Like, it's energy that you don't normally see from them in their streams and stuff like that, and then all of a sudden they just get like so fucking passionate about it. I love it. I fucking love it. It's the kind of energy I need to get me out of my fucking bed every morning.
Yes. Oh, no.
No, not there. We just walk in.
Not much to do here. I mean, they literally have like zone
Where are we gonna play?
pretty like close to them.
Play on us.
They don't really need to do much here other than
Are we
just,
safe right here?
yeah, play.
Back.
The biggest thing you want to do is, again, when it comes to identifying teams that are around you, that like the ones that are going to get fucked on rotation. Obviously, this team on Mirage is like the biggest one. I don't know if they're in on this next one. It seems like very close to the edge. But the map can be wrong sometimes. We the people. Thanks for the bits again, man. I appreciate it. Hey, wake up. Why aren't you asleep?
I don't know.
Here, Thomas, take 2.
Focus top. 'Cause we need to
Yeah, exactly, Russell.
fucking ADS and top.
Nothing like that. There really isn't, man. I miss it for sure. But if I'm being honest, competing in Apex doesn't always necessarily pay the bills.
I'm gonna play heal game if I have to.
Like sometimes, like as much as I miss the stress of competitive, ooh, that's a lot of damage.
They're fighting.
Okay, I'm healing.
I'm knocked. I'm stupid.
I'm moving in.
I'm knocked. I'm stupid. I want to hear that one again.
They're fighting.
Okay, I'm healing.
I'm knocked. I'm stupid.
I'm moving in.
All you guys, I'm subbing.
What's in the corner? On me.
Nice, I got my
What's
kill,
dead?
kill.
Let's fucking go!
Let's go!
I
Let's
forgot.
go! We did it! We fucking did it, dude! We fucking did it!
Let's fucking go,
We
boys.
fucking did it, dude!
Fucking go.
Love to
Oh my
hear it.
God!
You love to hear it.
Shit.
Oh my god!
TSM dethroned.
Fucking go.
Jesus.
Oh, the audio cuts out. I think.
Let's go!
We won!
Let's
Why did it just
go!
mute?
No tweets. Do not tweet. Do not tweet. No tweets.
I'm not tweeting, not tweeting, I'm
No
not tweeting, not
tweets.
tweeting.
No fucking tweets.
Why did it
No
just?
fucking tweets.
Why did it go from no audio to like Casper like screaming in his fucking pillow? We did it.
Oh my god!
Something.
Oh my god!
Where is it? Where is it?
Holy shit!
Oh my god!
Let's fucking go!
Jesus.
Hold on. There it is. And then Casper puts a pillow to his face.
Let's go!
We won!
Go!
No tweets. Do not tweet. Do not tweet. No tweets.
I'm not tweeting, not tweeting, I'm
No
not tweeting, not
tweets.
tweeting.
No
He
fucking
tweeted for no tweeting first. Oh god, of course. It's always the guy that like tells you actively not to do it that ends up doing it first. Holy shit, he's sitting there licking his pillow in enjoyment. Weird champ. Damn. Honestly, I mean, hell. That just goes to show, like, this tournament in particular is a fucking massive testament to just like all you need to do is be consistent. 7th, second, first. They didn't even need the first. You guys could have gone out second there, and I think you would have still won, right? Or even third. But still, I mean, that goes to show you, like, you just have to be fucking consistent. Every single team that won, aside from Team Liquid, in this tournament, put up a massive kill game to also go with it. But they just couldn't put out enough points on the other games. And that's all it comes down to, man. That's really all it comes down to. I mean, obviously it's not like easy just being second every single game. Like really fucking good rotation calls. Really good just situational awareness to play even like zones that were bad for you guys. Like you guys played super fucking well. Couple like small things here and there, but like that could be discerned from every single freaking VOD out there. But overall, that was really good, man. I did see a lot of it like here and there, bits and pieces, but it's nice to see the full picture. It definitely took a lot longer than it should have, VOD review wise. Like I said, I know I like to get on tangents and stuff like that. But no, I mean just overall, really fucking good. Can't ask for more than that. TSM dethroned.